Cincinnati, great night for fireworks for sure. They've got a big fireworks extravaganza planned for after the game coming on the banks of the Ohio. Brewers ready to lead them off here. Here's the batting order for Craig Counsell. Just took over this club after 25 games. GERARDO, PARRA, Jonathan Lucroy, Ryan Braun at the top. Adam Lynn, Carlos Gomez, and Aramis Ramirez in the middle of the order with Gene Segura, Scooter Gennett, and Jimmy Nelson on the mound. Parra's been hot. The entire Brewers ball club has been hot. They've won 6 straight. And Eric, how about Josh Smith? He makes his 3rd major league start here today.
Well, this is a guy that's got to have his control and get ahead in the count. And we say that for a lot of pitchers, but he has struggled with his control. He's had 10 walks, has to work ahead because he doesn't have the stuff when he gets behind hitters.
All right, we're ready to play ball here in Cincinnati. They have a sellout crowd expected tonight at Great American Ballpark. The ballpark looks fantastic. The playing surface is as good as it has ever looked as they get ready for the All-Star game in 10 days. GERARDO, PARRA will lead off. Had a leadoff home run in last night's Milwaukee win, and the first pitch is away for ball 1, and off we go here in Cincinnati. It's got to be a thrill for Josh Smith to not only pitch in the big leagues, but pitch in his home ballpark for the first time. His first 2 starts were on the road in Pittsburgh and in New York against the Mets. To be here in Cincinnati and to have this opportunity as a guy who signed for $1,000. He was a roster filler type draft pick in the 21st round, and he has plowed his way all the way to the big leagues, and he gets the ball here this evening. As Parra turns on one, and it eats up Brandon Phillips, and that'll be into right field. A hot shot off the bat of the red hot GERARDO, PARRA.
Now Parra absolutely smokes that ball, gets a fastball up, and just eats up Brandon Phillips. The thing that we're going to have to watch tonight with Smith is where he is in counts, and that was a 2-1 pitch right there. He has got to work ahead, because when he falls behind, he doesn't have the stuff to get ahead of hitters and get back into the count.
Here's Jonathan Lucroy, the terrific Brewer catcher, and another guy that has been swinging the bat well. And I guess you look up and down the Brewers lineup, and the way they have played recently, they are the hottest team in baseball right now with 6 consecutive wins. However, their record is still 14 under 500. They're 34 and 48. Lucroy missed significant time with a toe injury, had a fractured toe, but he's coming on here lately. 3 for 5 last night. You mentioned 3 of those former All-Stars for the Brewers with 3 hits in a 16-hit attack last night.
Well, they're finally healthy. I mean, this is the lineup that the Milwaukee Brewer organization envisioned. They're getting offensive production from everybody right now. It's almost kind of, it's just spread. One guy gets hot, the next guy, but really the key guy in this lineup is that guy that's hitting the middle, lower half, Aramis Ramirez, just cleaning things up.
Parra takes off. Lucroy swings and fouls it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As for Cincinnati, Eric, they're in a little bit of no man's land right now. They'd love to somehow get on a hot streak, get back in the wild card contention. The Cardinals are running away with the National League Central at this moment. Cincinnati comes in with a record of 36 and 42. So here they are, 6 games under 500, trying to decide whether they are sellers or buyers, and sometimes that can be a very difficult place to be, not just for the players, but for the manager and coaches, the general manager, Walt Jocketty, who's going to join us a little bit later in our broadcast.
Well, and what they're hanging their hats on, they haven't had a hot streak yet. They're hoping to go on that run where they win 10 of 12, get them back in the thick of things. They feel like they've got the talent, they've got the roster, but they haven't got on any kind of consistent run yet.
Reds had a 9-game losing streak beginning in mid-May. Started against the San Francisco Giants. They ran into the Kansas City Royals. As LUCROY sends one into right center field, Jay Bruce will ease over, and there is out number 1 for Josh Smith. I would imagine he's dealing with a lot of nerves still. This is his first home start. Wasn't even on the major league roster to begin the season. As a matter of fact, Brian Price pointed out that he is one of many that came in as either non-roster invitees or just straight minor league players and have had time in the big leagues this season.
Well, the Reds have been beset by a number of injuries, which it's allowed other players to get opportunities, just like Smith here. You know, but with Josh, he's fighting a lot of adrenaline. He's getting an opportunity in the big leagues, and he's got to make the most of it because this might be his only shot.
Now there are rotation spots that are going to be occupied here shortly. Raisel Iglesias is on his way back from an oblique injury, probably right after the All-Star break. So Smith knows he needs to pitch well to stay as he pours one inside against Ryan Braun. 1 ball, 1 strike on a former MVP. Braun's having a nice little comeback season as well. A thumb injury last year. Still bothered by nerve damage in his right thumb, but has had a cryotherapy injection. Sends that one into center field. Pretty well hit, but Billy Hamilton is there just shy of the track. And out number 2. A cryotherapy injection, I guess, numbs the nerve. Since he's come back from it, he's really swung the bat well, and he's kind of pushing his way into all-star discussion.
Well, he really is. And, you know, he's got the power. He's still stealing bases. Got his 10th last night. Is he the MVP type player? No. But is he good enough to be merited for an all-star game? Absolutely.
2 gone. Here is Adam Lind. And there goes Parra again, and the ball mishandled behind the plate by Pena. So Gerardo Parra into second with a stolen base, getting his wind sprints in between first and second. Finally gets to steal one. He's in scoring position for Lynn. Tell you, this guy's doing it all right now, Gerardo Parra. There are a lot of scouts in the ballpark here today watching a number of these players for both teams. Lynn would be one of them. Gerardo Parra certainly on the list for a number of contending teams as well.
Tell you what, Josh Smith so far has made 4 pitches by my count that it could have gone either way. Home plate umpire Bill Welke not giving him those pitches doesn't bode well for a guy like Smith. He needs to have what you would call a pitcher's umpire behind the home plate. So far we haven't seen that.
And another one close, does not get the call. Bill Welke, the crew chief, back behind the plate here tonight.
Good night to be a hitter, at least early on,
especially in this venue in the summertime. Not typically hot like it is in July in Cincinnati. It's actually perfect here tonight. Temperatures in the low 80s. That one caught the edge. 3-1 the count to Lynn. Well, I couldn't have a better night for baseball. A lot of folks hanging around downtown. They've done such great work here in Cincinnati with their downtown area. Strike 2 to Lynn. Good comeback for Smith.
Excellent off-speed pitching. Hitters count 3-1. Wants a breaking ball right over the heart of the plate. Lynn sitting on a fastball.
Full count, 2 outs. Josh Smith trying to get through his first inning at Great American Ballpark. '27-year-old Floridian. He's from Boca Raton. Played his college ball at Lipscomb in Nashville. Got a runner at second. Here comes a 3-2, and it's down and in, ball 4. And the patient Adam Lynn draws a walk. First and second with 2 outs for Milwaukee.
Good pitch there by Smith. Don't want to give him anything that he can hit. Try to get him to chase that down and in breaking ball.
Well, here is the star from last night's game, Carlos Gomez. 3 hits. He drove in 5 runs, 4 of them coming on this swing. A grand slam that put the game away for Milwaukee, made it 9-0 last night. Gomez with his first career grand slam. An all-star starter a year ago, voted in by the fans in the outfield last season. He's another one of the Milwaukee Brewers star players that has spent time on the disabled list this year. They've lost LUCROY for a good stretch. Carlos Gomez was on the DL with a hamstring injury early in the season in April. This Brewers team has been a bit of an enigma to start the season because they look like they got a lot of firepower as Schmidt strikes out Gomez to end the inning. Well, he survives at first, puts up a 0. Now the Reds are coming up. Great to have you with us. Now the Reds are coming up. Brandon Phillips will lead off for Cincinnati. Joey Votto, then Todd Frazier. Middle of the order for Brian Price is Jay Bruce, Brian Pena, Marlon Byrd, and then it's Eugenio Suarez. Josh Smith, the pitcher, batting 8th, and the National League stolen base leader, Billy Hamilton, batting 9th. And Eric, there is the big right-hander out of the University of Alabama, Jimmy Nelson.
Hey, it's going to come hard at you. Got the slider, the fastball. His kryptonite is left-handed hitters. They're hitting .308 with 7 home runs against him. Doesn't really have that out pitch. It'll be interesting to watch how he navigates with Bruce and Votto tonight.
He'll have 4 lefties to face in the Reds lineup. A couple of switch hitters in that mix with Pena and Hamilton. Phillips back in the leadoff spot. Took the collar last night, 0 for 3, gives him a .285 batting average coming in. He swings and pops this one up out to second base. Scooter Gennett for out number 1. That'll bring up Joey Votto. Votto, not the kind of batting average he would hope for at .279. Has a terrific on-base percentage of .394. He's a guy that will take his walks. That sometimes can be a burr in the saddle of Reds fans. Moving into the 2 spot in the batting order. Interesting lineup for Brian Price, Eric. He's got Hamilton hitting 9th, has his pitcher hitting 8th. A lot of it has to do with Hamilton's speed, his stolen base ability, but a lot of it has to do with Joey Votto, where he hits in the lineup, trying to create some base runners for him.
Well, again, with Hamilton hitting at the bottom of the lineup, it's really, you know, there's only one time where he is quote unquote not hitting in front of Joey Votto, and that is to begin the game. But after that, he's hitting in front. He can create some havoc on the bases. Makes a lot of sense when you have a player of Hamilton's ability to hit at night. You know, ideally, somewhere down the road, you'd like to see him be accomplished enough where you could put him in that leadoff spot, but hasn't been able to do so yet.
Nelson in there with a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Joey Votto. Underway here in Cincinnati. The Brewers failed to score in the first, had a single and a walk. Jimmy Nelson making his 3rd start against the Reds this season. And his previous 2 starts, somewhat of a symbol of his year and his brief major league career. He can be as dominant as any right-hander in the game, but he can have his troubles as well. And the Reds got him for 7 earned runs in an April 27 loss right here in Cincinnati.
Well, he's the type of guy that all of a sudden may find his sinker, and then boom, he just shuts people down. But it may take him a while to find it. You know, does not have that real out pitch against left-handers yet. Jay Bruce got him for a home run earlier in the season. But he does have a lot of talent. Just absolutely breezed through the minor leagues, dominated there. Just hasn't found the consistency here at the big league level.
He was the Brewers minor league pitcher of the year last year. And there's a good breaking ball. Votto is down on strikes. 2 up and 2 down for Jimmy Nelson.
A great breaking ball here. Starts in the zone and drops right out of it. It's Votto fishing. Votto will strike out. It's his 62nd strikeout of the season.
Now here is Todd Frazier, and quickly becoming fan favorite Todd Frazier in Cincinnati. He's going to be an all-star. The question is, will he be the starter at 3rd base for the all-star game? I've done an informal poll the last couple of weeks, talking to staff members who have a vote and who vote for all-star starters, and those I've talked to, it's almost unanimous that Todd Frazier is their pick for the starting nod at 3rd base. He's got some terrific company in there. Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals, and then the guy I think it's probably going to come down to is Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies, who's having a monster year with the Rockies. Frazier takes a strike. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, you're not going to go wrong with any of the 3, Carpenter, Arenado, or Frazier. I think Frazier, with what he's done on this ball club, the fact that he's not doing it in Colorado, although this is a great place to hit. Again, either one of those 2, Frazier or Arenado.
We got Arenado, who's hit about as many homers away from Coors Field as he has at Coors Field this year. He is the back-to-back Gold Glove Award winner in the National League as well. Frazier spoils one foul. Now, he certainly would be the sentimental pick, but I think if you had to start a franchise right now and pick your 3rd baseman between Frazier and Arenado, most would go with Arenado just because of the age, because of the great defense, exceptional defense. But Todd Frazier certainly has his place among the elite 3rd basemen in all of baseball. And he reaches out, pokes one into left field. That is going to be over the head of Parra. Frazier on his way to second. Looked like a tennis backhand out of Wimbledon earlier today. A double off the wall that fooled Parra in left field. So much power with Todd Frazier.
Well, a lot of hand strength right there. He gets out on his front foot, but able to just get the barrel out there. Just jumps off his bat. You see Parra, he takes a step or 2 in. That's his first move. Then just unable to catch up to the ball. Didn't read it well. Looked more at the body of Frazier and how he went after it, trying to anticipate how hard that ball was hit.
Well, that'll set up a key matchup early, and Eric talked about Jimmy Nelson against left-handed batters, and here's Jay Bruce Nelson struck out Votto a moment ago, and this will be a good test for him here early. Bruce has a home run in his career against Jimmy Nelson. He's 2 for 8 lifetime. He's got a double and a home run. Bruce did have a hit last night. He was 1 for 4. That was a double in his last at bat. Rips that one. Lynn right there. He'll go to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. Off to a scoreless start on the 4th of July in Cincinnati. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Beautiful 4th of July night in Cincinnati. It's an all-star summer here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a little disappointed, Eric, you didn't break out the mustache. It's a stash fest here.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about leaving that on today when I was shaving, but then I thought, you know, I was going to go back to the old Cincinnati Red rules. No facial hair.
Ah, that's right. Remember? Yeah, they're out in a big way. There are these giant mustache statues all around town. They are so looking forward to the All-Star game. It'll be the first All-Star game here in Cincinnati since 1988. Josh Smith back to work. He starts Aramis Ramirez with a strike. Not to sound like a broken record, but he's hot as well, as most of the Brewer hitters are. And a home run last night. And quickly 0-2. It's a bit of a news flash that Josh Smith was able to put up a 0 on the Brewers in the first inning. During this 6-game winning streak, they have scored in every first inning. They've scored 10 runs in the first inning of the 5 games on this current road trip they're on, which began as a 4-game sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies.
And they had runners on first and second in that first inning. They were knocking on the door. Josh Smith, though, able to strike out Carlos Gomez.
Quite a sequence there to Carlos Gomez to get out of the jam in the first inning. Carlos a strikeout victim. First K of the day for Smith. And that one just missed. Brian Price talking to us about Josh Smith and his command, and sometimes you get to the big leagues and you've had success in the minor leagues and you try to do something you really haven't done at the lower levels. You try to be something that you perceive to be big league quality. That one's up and in. That hits Ramirez. No foul ball. That's a hit by pitch. And Aramis Ramirez will reach.
Tough for Josh Smith. He had Ramirez 0-2 and then let him get away. This pitch just runs in. Looked like it nicked the shirt a little bit. Yeah, not all that bad, just the shirt. Off speed pitch got away.
So Smith lets him get away with 2 strikes. Now Gene Segura, the Milwaukee shortstop. And that one's inside. That hit him. Got him on the elbow. So back to back hit batters. And the Brewers will put 2 on the hard way. That one looked like it bit Segura a little bit right on the lead elbow.
That's a fastball that just ran in, got away from Smith. Good to see both Pena and Frazier visiting the mound. Calm Smith down a bit. Yeah, he had some tough pitches on Ramirez. He had a pitch or 2 again that could have been called a strike. Did not get the call from home plate umpire Bill Welke. Now he needs to do what he did to Carlos Gomez. He went right after him, 2 fastballs, and then was able to get an off-speed pitch out a little bit. Bill Welke, that's the interesting one. That is the only one that he's given Smith. That was probably an inch or 2 off the plate. Bill Welke giving him the call, but other than that, been a very, very tight strike zone.
In trouble right away. 2 on, nobody out. Here is Scooter Gennett, batting 8th in the Brewers lineup. The Cincinnati-born Scooter Gennett. Smith has spent most of the year in AAA Louisville. He had a little time in Pensacola, AA, and actually had 1 appearance in A-ball just up the road in Dayton. There's a ground ball. Got a chance to turn 2 here. Suarez to Phillips, and the throw to first is in time. A double play. 6-4-3. 2 outs with 1 swing of the bat, and Smith sees a little light at the end of this 2nd inning tunnel.
Well, nice job to induce a double play. It's a little sinker running away. Easily turned by Phillips. But can't breathe easy yet. Got to get out of it right here. Got the pitcher up.
Jimmy Nelson brings a giant strike zone to the plate at 6-6. Nelson not known for his hitting prowess, unlike Josh Smith, who can actually swing the bat pretty well. Nelson does have a couple of hits, actually 3 hits this season. He never had a hit his entire minor league career. Jimmy Nelson. They start to hit in AA. Never had a hit until he got in the big leagues. Takes a strike. 1-2 the count.
Who was that kid the other night for the Mets? Matz? They had 3.
Steven Matz. That was in the Josh Smith start, as a matter of fact. Last Sunday in New York, 3 hits and 4 RBIs in his major league debut. Nelson makes contact. That'll be easy enough for Smith, and he is through 2 innings. Works around 2 on, nobody out. Big double play for him. Reds are coming up. By T-Mobile, switch to the Data Strong network. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio, the home of the Reds. Reds have been very good here in their home ballpark. Their troubles have come on the road this season. And two teams with a lot of players that have star power, as we mentioned, Eric, a lot of players that could end up elsewhere and serving big roles for pennant contenders as we move through this 2015 season, getting close to the trade deadline at the end of July. Brayan Pena is ready to lead off for Cincinnati. Marlon Byrd certainly on that list. He has been traded at the trade deadline in the past and has had success. It would take a lot to get Aroldis Chapman out of Cincinnati, and I think #1 on everybody's list right now is Johnny Cueto.
But again, the Reds are going to have to decide which way they're going. You know, whether it's a rebuilding mode where they can get a pretty good haul for some of these guys, or do they stick to the course, hope for that winning streak, and hope to jump back into the wild card hunt.
Cueto and Leak are free agents at season's end. We're going to visit with General Manager Walt Jocketty. He's going to come on with us in the 4th inning. And we hope to hear from Craig Counsell, the Brewers manager, in the 3rd inning. Jimmy Nelson back to work. Brayan Pena, switch hitting catcher, will lead off. Cincinnati is without their all-star catcher, Devin Mesoraco, out with hip surgery. A key loss for them. They lost their starting shortstop and their starting catcher, Mesoraco and Zach Kozar. That ball's ripped right field, but right at Ryan Braun for out #1.
Well, you talk about losing Mesoraco and Kozar. Also remember Homer Bailey, pitcher that they were going to count on this year, signed to a 6-figure deal. I should say 9-figure. 10, I don't even know what figure. 100 million.
A lot of zeros.
Is a lot. Was that 10, 11?
Tommy John surgery for Homer Bailey in May. And they're hoping he'll be back and back to what he was, the author of 2 no-hitters. This is one guy, a lot like Gerardo Parra of the Brewers, that there are a lot of eyes on from contending teams. He's bounced quite a bit over the last few years. He was with the Phillies last year. He was traded from the Mets to the Pirates in 2013, and he was great for him. And he's got that one way back left center field. Goodbye, Marlon Byrd puts the Reds on the board first here tonight. That was a no-doubter. 14th home run of the season for the Birdman.
Well, as you mentioned, he'll be attractive to any team looking for some right-handed pop. Can play the outfield well. Good clubhouse man. Be surprised if he's here at the end of the year.
He's having a nice year for Cincinnati. Batting average is low, but he's still got some pop in his bat, and that's what he can do. Proven to be a clutch hitter in the past. He really helped the Pirates in 2013. That was the year they broke their 20-game silence, or 20-year silence of postseason play. Eugenio Suarez with a fly ball to right, and there is out #2.
He gets the pitch out over the plate. He knows it's gone. A little bat toss. See that back elbow just tuck in on the side. When he makes contact, that back elbow again bent, front arm almost extended. Drives that thing into the seats.
It's only the 2nd home run allowed on the road this year by Jimmy Nelson. He's had his trouble at Miller Park with the home run ball, but not on the road. But a much better road pitcher where that is concerned. The pitcher Josh Smith. Remember, the Reds have their pitcher batting 8th. He hits here with 2 outs. Smith can handle the bat a little bit. He is still a pitcher, but not the normal pitcher liability in the batting order.
You know, and one of the other things, when you have the pitcher hitting 8th and Billy Hamilton following in that 9th spot, very rarely will you ever have Billy Hamilton coming up with somebody clogging the bases in front of him.
Yep, and Hamilton will lead off in the 3rd, but in the 2nd, Marlon Byrd with 1 out goes deep, and the Cincinnati Reds are on the board first here tonight. Nothing lead here tonight in Cincinnati. Baseball Night in America on Fox. We are delighted to have you with us. Brian Anderson with Eric Karros. Aaron Stoikov producing tonight. Mike Frank, our director. Top of the order for Josh Smith. Gerardo Parra will lead off for Milwaukee. Had a single and a stolen base in the 1st inning. Parra with 2 hits last night, including that leadoff homer. Drove in a couple of runs. And he's hit by a pitch. The 3rd hit batter of the game for Josh Smith. And a lead runner on here in the 3rd. The Brewers have had a lead man on in every inning so far. Hey, a reminder, tomorrow on ESPN, it's the Esurance All-Star Selection Show. The starters for both teams will be announced, with the reserves announced on Monday. And then on July 13th, it's the 2015 Gillette Home Run Derby, presented by Head & Shoulders. And it all leads up to the Midsummer Classic on Tuesday, July 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here, only on Fox, right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's going to be a great all-star game, home run derby. It's going to be fun to watch these guys bang away in the home run derby in this ballpark.
Yeah, the city's already electric. Signage all over the place. I mean, they're ready to go right now. A lot of excitement.
10 days away from the All-Star game. Jonathan Lucroy batting for the 2nd time. He's up there with Parra at first, and in the air to right, almost in the exact spot. Jay Bruce makes the catch for out number 1. Here's Ryan Braun now. Braun, his last time up, flew out to center field. Talking about the year that Braun is having. Dealt with an oblique injury early in the season and then had to sit down for a few days with that thumb injury. But overall, the numbers stacking up, and Braun is putting himself in the all-star discussion, especially with Giancarlo Stanton, who is right now one of the top vote getters in the outfield as a starter. He's on the disabled list, of course. Braun ranks among National League leaders in RBIs, home runs, and in runs scored. He's also up there in total bases. He's in the top 8 in all of those categories. 7th in the National League in homers with 15, and he's top 6 with runs batted in, 54 this season.
Well, with those runs batted in, with runners in scoring position this year, he's hitting 400. So again, he is having an all-star type year.
There's a pitch out. Parra not running. Reds had a couple of pitch outs last night. One of them worked. They threw out Carlos Gomez, sniffing out a stolen base opportunity. That was about all that went right for Cincinnati last night. Brewers won yesterday's game 12-1. There goes Parra, and Pena's throw to second is on the money. Out at second. Perfect peg by Brian Pena.
Now, Parra had a good jump right here off of Josh Smith, but Pena fired that ball. And really got to give credit to Brandon Phillips and his ability to apply the tag so quickly.
A little pump of the fist. That was a great look. A lightning quick tag, even in slow motion. Brandon Phillips for the second out of the inning. So the Brewers with some traffic behind Josh Smith, but a lot of outs on the bases as Braun swings and misses at a breaking ball. Three hit batters, a walk and a single already for the first 11 hitters of the game, and yet Smith is a strike away from putting up his third zero.
Brewers and Reds both very similar this year with their expectations coming into the season. Needed a lot of things to go right. Felt that if they did go right, they'd be at least in contention.
Braun broke his bat. Frazier makes the play. Josh Smith in his Cincinnati debut has 3 scoreless on the board. Billy Hamilton, the National League stolen base leader, will lead off. All-Star 2015. The Reds have a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the third. Downtown Cincinnati. Jimmy Nelson starts his third inning. Billy Hamilton leads off for the Reds.
Well, you see Hamilton not swinging the bat all that well. The on-base percentage right around 270. But even as lethargic as those numbers are, because of his speed, because of what he can do on the base path, because of what he can do out in center field, he adds value to this ball club. There isn't a guy in the big leagues that runs like him. He's stolen 40 bases, only been thrown out 6 times. If he can get down to first base, he's usually on third base in a couple of pitches. So you can tolerate that on base percentage. It's low.
40 stolen bases this year for Hamilton. The Reds lead all of baseball in team stolen bases with 81, and almost half of those coming from Billy Hamilton, and he is leading in that category by 12. It's not even close. The stolen base category. You see how many bunt hits he has. He usually tries to bunt for a hit once or twice a game. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Hamilton. Switch hitter, fouls it away. The name of the game is runs, right? Scoring runs. So if you look at the on base percentage, there's a great comparison between Joey Votto, who leads the Reds and is 4th in the National League in on base percentage. Joey Votto's on base percentage is .394, and Billy Hamilton checks in at .276, and yet Hamilton has scored 1 fewer run than Joey Votto, and it points right to his speed and his ability, not just when he reaches to be a threat to go to second, but also third and go first to third and score from first on hits in the gap or down a line.
Well, and it's not only what he does running the bases, but it's the concern he gives the pitcher, the opposing catcher, the opposing manager. Changes how they have to approach the man up at the plate when Hamilton's on base. Pitch selection.
Now, this is the 30th game this year Price has had him bat in the 9 spot. More and more National League teams are doing that. The Brewers had their pitcher bat 8th on a number of occasions this year. That was primarily when Carlos Gomez was hitting leadoff, trying to get a position player on in front of Gomez. The Reds do it for Votto and to take advantage of the speed of Billy Hamilton. The 1-2 misses high. And he's seen 9 pitches here in this sequence. Got him. Nelson strikes him out with a big fastball. Now, between innings, we had a chance to visit with first-year Brewers manager Craig Counsell. We asked him how his first couple of months have been on the job.
Well, it's a lot of new stuff. You know, about 2 months in, so it's starting to settle down as far as that is. But it's been great. I love every day of it. I love that there's something new every day, and I love the challenge of it.
Offense has really been swinging the bat well as of late. Any key player or anybody that kind of makes it go?
Well, I think lately it's been Aramis Ramirez. He's gotten hot, and the guys ahead of him, Braun, LUCROY, Lind, Gomez, they've been on base for him, and when he's cleaning everything up, we're going to score a lot of runs.
Craig, if you had to pick one all-star from your team, who would that be?
Just one. We've got a couple guys that deserve consideration for sure, but I think Frankie Rodriguez has been, absolutely lights out, and he's been automatic, and he's been a big reason why we're winning games. He's closing it down every time.
18 for 18 in save opportunities this year, Frankie Rodriguez. One of the guys should be going to the All-Star game, but also somebody that's going to be coveted by a lot of other ball clubs trying to enhance their bullpen.
Now, the Brewers have a very good bullpen. That is the strength of their team. Their winning scenario bullpen. Getting to that part of the bullpen was the challenge earlier in the year. Milwaukee is coming off a .500 month of June. And for a team that was sitting there 20 to 23 games under 500, they are enjoying a little bit of success here recently. Brandon Phillips frustrated as he pops this one up right up the pipe. That is Segura who makes a catch. And Jimmy Nelson has retired the first two for Milwaukee. Just missed one, didn't he?
Oh, fastball up out of the zone. And remember, his first time up, he popped up high to second base. Tough to catch up to that high fastball.
By the way, how about the catcher's gear Jonathan Lucroy is sporting today?
Man, he's not messing around. You got that arm sleeve as well.
I thought Bryce Harper had the best 4th of July equipment today with the Star Spangled Bat, but I might have to rethink that now.
Yeah, no contest. Jonathan Lucroy.
There he is. Jonathan Lucroy is going to auction off this catcher's equipment to benefit Camp Hometown Heroes and Honor Flight Milwaukee. He's a guy that is extremely involved with military charities and is a regular visitor to the Walter Reed Center in D.C. And he's showing his patriotism here today. Joey Votto, an impeccable eye, takes a ball down and away, 2-1 to count.
Struck out in the first going after a pitch that was out of the zone. Again, with a lot of walks do come a number of strikeouts.
Votto in a 2-2 count and a little frustrated at that call by Bill Welke, it would seem. A perfectionist in all he does at the plate. Joey Votto, former MVP, signed a long deal, 10-year deal with the Reds. They have Votto and Phillips in 10-year contracts. Right to Jeanette, able to keep his feet. And that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Jimmy Nelson. 3 in the books in Cincinnati. 1-0 Reds. Lynn, Gomez, Ramirez coming up for the Crew. Cast is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by Head and Shoulders with Old Spice. Smell 100% manly, just like Eric Harrow's.
Oh, thank you very much.
Fountain Square. Big night tonight here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Lots of folks in the downtown area. They've done such a great job here, and this is the center of this city here tonight with Reds and Brewers baseball. Big fireworks extravaganza planned after the game And we're glad you're with us tonight. Adam Lind ready to start it for Milwaukee. Cincinnati has a 1-0 lead. Got a Marlon Byrd homer in the second inning. And Josh Smith starts the fourth inning. We are pleased to be joined now by the Reds general manager. He'll be making big decisions here shortly. Walt Jocketty, great to have you with us on our Fox broadcast tonight.
Thank you, Brian. It's great to be here. Great to have you guys in town.
Well, I tell you, Walt, before we get into all the hard-hitting questions, let's talk a little bit about Cincinnati as an all-star venue, this ballpark. The field has never looked better. The city looks like it's so ready to host this all-star.
It really is. And our organization, our business side, has really done a terrific job of putting this all together and putting a great show together for it.
Right on cue, Adam Lind sends one out of here to tie this game. So Lind answers the Marlon Byrd home run, and we are all even at one apiece.
But you're right, they've done a great job with the stadium. The city's definitely ready to go, and you know, the city council and the mayor and everybody have just been terrific in the county to get us get this place looking as good as it does right now, and it's we're really excited about it. Been a lot of work, but it'll be well worth it once it comes next in about a week or so.
So impressive to walk around town. Everybody has all-star stickers. It looks like all of the businesses are in as Gomez turns one around left field. That is a foul ball and a long, loud strike. So from a general manager's perspective, as you get towards the all-star break, and I know there's a lot of discussion with the Reds, are you buyers, are you sellers? I'm going to spare you that question.
Okay.
But when are those decisions going to be made, in your opinion?
Well, we've been meeting about it, you know, obviously the last week, 10 days, and we get closer to the all-star break. We'll start making some decisions on what we're going to do. But I think, you know, we've got some. You're right. It's some tough decisions. We got some guys who've been with us for a long time, and you know, it's tough to think about moving guys that you've signed and developed and been with you for a long time, but you have to be realistic too.
What is it for you that'll help you go one way or the other? I mean, is there something that you're looking for, something that has to happen, or just ongoing discussion?
Well, I think the best way to answer that, Eric, is we feel that we want to continue to play as well as we can for as long as we can, and we think we owe it to our fans and to the city to put a competitive ball club on that field, but every day. But if, on the other hand, if you know, we're going to do whatever it makes sense for the long-term health of this organization, and if that means having to move some guys eventually, then we'll do that. But it's something that is not easy to do. You know, we came into this season thinking we had a competitive club that would contend for the division, and we had some bullpen problems early. We've just been killed with injuries with Mesoraco and Cozart and Homer Bailey and a few other guys, but those guys are out for the year. So it's just tough to overcome that. So we need to be realistic at some point here and do what's best for the long-term viability of this organization.
Carlos Gomez, another foul ball, stays in a 1-2 count. I know you're fairly close with Brewers general manager Doug Melvin. You guys, I would imagine, are communicating a little bit, and it feels very similar what has happened in Milwaukee to what has happened here in Cincinnati. There's a lot of star power with both of these teams. We hit the air today talking about the all-star caliber players that exist in both of these lineups and on these rosters today. So how do you account for what has happened this year with your club specifically?
Well, I think you're right in comparing our two clubs. We both have very strong clubs, and the Brewers were hurt early in the year when they had a lot of guys injured, and it got off to a slow start, and it affected them. They're playing much better now, but they have. I talked to Craig Counsell today, because I haven't seen him since he got the job, that you know, he's got a very good club right now. He's got a nice club on the field, and so it's good for them for that reason. But for us, you know, you look, we still have a good infield, and most of our outfield is still there. But what's hurt us the most is we lost some of our pitching. Our bullpen has been beat up a little bit. So you know, we need to look at what we do to make sure we stay competitive this year, but more so going into the future.
So I know it doesn't sound right, but almost the worst thing that can happen, though, is if you guys go on a little run here. I mean, because then
that certainly makes it confusing.
I mean,
right.
you just, where do you go? From the outside looking in, and again, it's easy as an outsider. I'm not here.
Right.
It says, look, you've got some great pieces. Try to retool.
Right.
Well, but again, if you start winning, then what?
Yeah, right. It is tough, but we've still got a few weeks left before the end of the trade, the waiver period here, and we'll make some decisions here in the next week or so. But I think it just depends on what we have to look at, what we have coming back too. If people offer something we can't turn down, then we'll have to take a look at it.
Ramos Ramirez grounds out for out number 2. So another tough question. You're having to answer a lot, I know, over the last few weeks. But here's one that we asked Brian Price today. I'd love to get your thoughts. Johnny Cueto exits the game, gets a standing ovation his last time out. He's obviously, along with Cole Hamels, one of the 2 pitchers that everybody would love to have on their team as a contending team. Now, he's supposed to throw Tuesday against Max Scherzer, and then he could throw Sunday, which would take him out of All-Star consideration. Do you weigh all of those factors, being that your All-Star game is here in Cincinnati this year? Does it matter to you that he may not pitch Sunday and he could pitch in the All-Star game, or would you consider trading him before that?
Well, that's a great question. The only way to answer that right now, Brian, is that we have not engaged in any conversation with anybody. So it really is kind of a moot point until somebody contacts us about trading, and makes us an offer. But he'll pitch Tuesday, and probably will pitch Sunday, and we'll see what happens. To answer your question, though, it obviously would be feel uncomfortable having him come back as an all-star in another uniform. But, that's, again, we have to do what's best for our organization.
Visiting with Walt Jocketty on a 4th of July Saturday here in Cincinnati. Scooter Gennett bats with a runner at first and 2 men out. And runner on the move. Segura throw to second is not in time. Safe at second base. Segura steals second. Talked a little bit about the injuries this year, Walt, and I would imagine losing Mesoraco and Cozart, those are high on the list because of your middle infield defense and the way those guys play.
Right.
Homer Bailey, though, where's he at in his Tommy John recovery, and where do you expect him to be next season?
He actually, the last game that he pitched was in Milwaukee, and in April, I think it was, and he's doing great. He's here every day and working very hard, and we expect him to be fully recovered and be able to pitch in our rotation next year and be a big part of that. He'll maybe the anchor of the staff as it turns out. So we'll see. But he is doing quite well, very well.
I'm going to intentionally walk Scooter Gennett here. Well, Walt, thanks a lot for coming on with us. We got 2 outs in this inning. I know these are not the kind of questions you're wanting to answer here. I know you hope to have a pennant contender, and you still might. You never know.
You're right.
But thanks for coming on here.
My pleasure. Anytime, guys.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Walt Jocketty, general manager of the Cincinnati Reds, had such a great role in the Cardinals' success as well, and St. Louis is leading this division right now. So an intentional pass to Gennett sets the pitcher Nelson at the plate, and another chance for Josh Schmidt to get out of an inning with men on base. Nelson grounded out his last time up. And that one a little flare into right field, but right there is Jay Bruce, inning over. However, Adam Lind leads off the inning, ties it up with a home run. He might be all-star worthy. We may look at those numbers when we come back. His 13th of the year, ties it. Headed to the bottom of the fourth. And let's take a look at tonight's Game Changer profile. It's brought to you by T-Mobile, the official sponsor of Game Changers. And you bet, here's one right here, Todd Frazier. Bryce Harper homer today, number 25. So those two are behind Giancarlo Stanton in the home run race in the major leagues. Tied for 8th in the league in RBIs with 54. And he is the major league leader in extra base hits, Todd Frazier. And Walt Jocketty, by the way, just told us on his way out he is an untouchable, which was interesting. You asked him,
I asked
we
him,
left the end.
You know, and I thought that, look at it, he's at least somebody that you can listen, because that you could get an awful lot, probably more than any other player that you have. But as he mentioned, there just aren't a lot of guys that can replace somebody like him, and he is now the face of this franchise.
Starts him with a fastball. Frazier, a big cut and a miss. He had a double his last time up. Doubled off the left field wall. A home run by Marlon Byrd in the second. Adam Lind with a home run in the top of this inning for Milwaukee. Ground ball, a hot one. That's going to sneak through. A lot of top spin. Frazier muscles one into center field. That gives us a chance for a game break. Chris Myers standing by in Los Angeles. What do you have, Chris? All right, Chris, thanks a lot. Wow, what a day for Chris Bryant. 6 runs batted in on just 2 hits so far in that game. Have you ever seen as many prospects? Now, you're a Dodger guy, and you guys had a lot of prospects back in your day, but as many prospects come up to the big leagues in such a short period of time like the Cubs are producing.
You know, but that's what the plan was for the Cubs. When Theo Epstein took over, he and Jed Hoyer, they went over there and they got rid of some guys, and they decided to focus their drafts and their trades going after young position players with offensive talent. And that's what they've accumulated. And really, right now, they're probably a starting pitcher or 2 away from being a club that they may end that streak that's gone on since 1908, having not won a World Series.
I thought you guys won a World Series in 03.
We were close. That's tough. Sore subject.
Blow right there.
Sore subject right there. But they will. I mean, right now with this group, I don't think it's this year. You know, but with this nucleus that they've got over there, and Madden at the helm, man, this could be it.
Jay Bruce with Frazier at first, and a fastball in there for a strike. Hey, think about the year Rizzo is having for the Cubs. He's certainly all-star worthy. They bring in a catcher in Miguel Montero, a veteran guy, certainly not in that group of prospects or, you know, faces of franchise type player, but he's a solid and a former all-star catcher behind the plate, a guy that gives you a lot, both defensively and offensively. A big bat. Addison Russell, who's
that's a kid I like.
Terrific shortstop, now playing second base.
Yeah. I mean, athletic, swings the bat. I mean, basically playing a new position at the big league level. But the kid, they're just so athletic.
Swing and a miss. Bruce on a big curveball by Jimmy Nelson, strikes out. After a leadoff single, Nelson comes back with his 4th K.
Very similar to the pitch that he got Votto as far as location when he struck him out in the 1st inning. A breaking ball down and in, out of the strike zone to the left-handed hitters.
So 1 away, runner at first for Brian Pena. Hit a line drive out his last time up to right. Now the St. Louis Cardinals are rolling in the Central Division, looking for another National League Central Division title. Walt Jocketty headed that franchise for many years, and then coming here to Cincinnati. Cardinals won that division again last season. They have been the class of the division. As Pena pulls one foul with Frazier on the move.
Hit and run in that situation, but Frazier got such a good jump that you'd like to see Pena take that pitch, but very difficult to do as a hitter when you do have the hit and run on.
Cardinals now 52-28. What they've done at home this year is remarkable. 30 of those 52 wins have come at Busch Stadium. They're 30-11 in their home ballpark. Pirates are 6 back. Big question in this division, can the Cardinals be caught? Certainly Pittsburgh in shouting distance. The Cubs are 9 back, but there are 2 wild card slots now, of course, and you could easily see 3 teams from this division end up in the postseason, with the other 2 behind the Cardinals in the wild card game. It's been the Reds and the Pirates. Last couple of years, that one was inside. Did it hit him? He did not. Close.
That's great. That looked like it hit him right in the side, but obviously it didn't. Pena showing those cat-like reflexes, gets out of the way.
Seen a few hit batters in this game. Josh Smith of the Reds has hit 3 Brewers today. One ball, 1 strike. A wave and a miss. Nelson has developed a new pitch this season. A spike curveball he throws. Digs that fingernail of his index finger into the baseball. Never threw that pitch until this year. Toyed with it this offseason and then was able to break it out in spring training. It felt comfortable from the beginning, so it has given him a new weapon. And for whatever reason, when he's throwing that pitch well, which can act as a change of pace pitch for him, it makes his slider that much better.
Well, that curveball, it has more downward action. Obviously not as hard as his slider. Basically a different plane on which the ball breaks.
1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball foul. Pena hanging tough. Always loads up that grip, that spike curveball.
Worried about Frazier over there. He does have 8 stolen bases this year. Been caught, I believe, 5 times.
Now with Frazier at first, Lynn covers, opens up a hole over there, and it looks like Nelson has been working him inside. That one's ripped back up the middle. Yikes. That was a bullet, and Nelson fortunate that that one went by him. Brian Pena in a 2-strike count turns it around quickly, and the Reds have something cooking here in the 4th inning.
Well, Pena almost gets clipped by Nelson earlier in the at-bat. Pena returns a favor right back to the glove side. I hate to see something like that.
Yeah, that'll
get the adrenaline going, little nerves.
And it's going to set up an at-bat with Marlon Byrd, who homered his last time up. His 14th of the season. 2 singles in the inning. Frazier and Pena, 2 on, 1 away. This game all tied at 1. Byrd and Lind with home runs. Frazier back easily. Starts him with a hook.
Nice play by LUCROY. Keep the runners at first and second. Does a great job at just shifting his body
Jonathan Lucroy did a series of commercials in Milwaukee, and the whole idea of the spots were that he was the Captain America of the Milwaukee Brewers. Today he actually looks like Captain.
He does.
1 ball 1 strike on Bird. Lucroy was the all-star starter behind the plate last year. Yadier Molina was the leading vote getter, but he was injured, had that thumb injury. So Lucroy started. He was behind the plate for Derek Jeter's final first at bat, or first final at bat. Caught Adam Wainwright last season. 1 ball 1 strike. Bird into center field. Gomez is there. Hard hit ball, but nothing to show for it. 2 outs in the inning. Say a reminder, you can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 devices with MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Every night on every device. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Well, Lucroy went out and visited Nelson at the plate, just letting him know that although they're in the 7th spot, the pitcher is on deck. So you can be careful here with Suarez. You don't have to just throw balls right down the middle, because you do technically have a base open.
Eugenio Suarez taking over the everyday shortstop role from Zach Cozart, who's out with a knee injury. There's a strike. There is the pitcher, Smith. 1 run through 4 innings thus far. Suarez not the defensive presence Cozart was and is. He can hit, and the Reds are counting on his bat. He did have a hit last night. He drove in a run. He was 1 for 3. To avoid the shutout at the hands of the Brewers last night. The only run of the ball game for Cincinnati, which came in the 9th inning. Strike 2.
There have been 2 pitches in this sequence where Lucroy's set up inside. He wanted to bury that fastball in there. Both times Nelson has missed, gone right down the middle of the plate. Suarez, though unable to pull the trigger, not really sure what he's up there looking for, especially with the pitcher on deck.
And I'll ask if he went. He did not. Able to check his swing. 2 balls 2 strikes. Nelson thus far has 4 strikeouts. Craig Counsell telling us before the game, Nelson is a guy that he can muscle his way through the early innings, and he has certainly done that tonight. He can get stronger, and he can lock in on his sinking fastball, which he's gotten a couple of called strikes with in this sequence. Let's see what he has in mind here. 2-2. And he got him. A slider strikes out Suarez. Jimmy Nelson strands 2 Reds. We're headed to the 5th in Cincinnati, all tied at 1. Well, tomorrow the 2015 Women's World Cup Final is here, and it's a rematch 4 years in the making. Team USA taking on defending champion Japan to see who will be crowned the champion. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. It's only on Fox, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Looking forward to that. What a great run it has been for the United States, and I know they're happy to draw Japan once again. A little redemption, they hope. Gerardo Parra leads off. The Brewers have the top of their order coming up against Josh Smith. And Eric, he's going along well here today. Whatever nerves he was battling or expected to battle in his Cincinnati debut, this is his third major league game, but his first time in his home ballpark, as he gives up a leadoff single to Parra.
Well, Parra's been on base all 3 times tonight. 2 singles and a hit by pitch. You know, I think more than anything to characterize Smith tonight, he's been dodging bullets. You know, every inning outside of the third, there have been runners in scoring position. So far, the only run scored was the home run hit by Adam Lind.
Milwaukee has had their lead batter reach base in every inning so far, each of the first 5. He's hit 3 batters. He's issued 2 walks, and the Brewers now have 4 hits, with LUCROY taking strike 1.
Well, and this has been the guy right here, LUCROY, that has allowed Smith a little wiggle room, because each time Parra has gotten on base, he flies out to right field. Again, we talked about LUCROY being hot coming into tonight's ball game. 11 for his last 20 since returning from the disabled list coming into tonight, hitting over 300.
LUCROY missed those 38 games with a broken left toe. It came in a matchup against Cincinnati. It was a foul ball off his left toe, fractured the big toe on the left foot, and he missed those games. He came back. He was off to a slow start anyway offensively. Came back, and then you got a sense a little bit that he was chasing numbers. You know, last year he set a major league record for doubles by a catcher. More doubles than any catcher in the history of the game by a player in the catching position. First Yadier Molina for the National League record, and then Pudge Rodriguez to set the record. But a month ago he was hitting 150. He's hitting 253 now, so he's really been able to turn it around since coming back from the disabled list.
Still yet to get any of that slugging, though, any of that power. Only 1 home run on the year, 14 RBIs since returning from the disabled list. You mentioned the doubles last year.
One ball, 2 strikes on LUCROY. Swing and a miss. He got him. A fastball and a strikeout for Josh Smith. Just his 2nd K of the game. He renders LUCROY 0 for 3 here today.
Really an excellent pitch off the outer part of the plate. Just LUCROY to go after it.
1 away. Parra's still at first. Josh Smith matched up against Steven Matz, who was making his MLB debut last Sunday, so he's had an extra day. The Reds had a day off on Thursday. Facing Ryan Braun with 1 away. Went back to the spot. He missed this time. In that game, Smith was pitching well, but he was in a lot of deep counts. Threw 109 pitches in 5 innings. And there was a very costly error by his shortstop Suarez that opened up an inning. Smith was out after 5 innings. Gave up 3 runs, only 1 of them earned, and took the loss Sunday against the Mets. His major league debut came in Pittsburgh. In that game, the Reds decided to skip Johnny Cueto, or at least push him back from his regular turn in the rotation. So Smith made that start for Cueto. Went 4 innings in that game, and again had a lot of pitches in those 4 innings. Understandable. His first game in the big leagues. He gave up a 3-run homer in his 4th inning to Francisco Cervelli that ended up tying the game. But prior to that, he was actually hanging in there, and it feels a lot like what's happening here today. A lot of base runners, but was able to keep the runs to a minimum until later in his outings.
Well, he's avoided the big hit. Had a double play behind him. Again, he's made pitches when he's had to, and you know, in his defense, he hasn't had the liberal strike zone either. He's had a lot of close pitches, haven't gone his way, but still only really one mistake. Home run ball to Adam Lind.
That came last inning in the 4th, answering Marlon Byrd's home run in the 2nd inning as that one gets away, and Parra's on his way to second. Now it gets caught up in the tarp. Votto fishes it out. Parra will stay at second base.
Yeah, it looked like Votto just boxed that. We'll have to take a look at it on the replay, but I think he just clanked that thing over there. Yeah, that's a catch.
They've scored it as an E1. They might have to revisit that.
That's E3. Should be an E3.
Votto has been a Gold Glove first baseman. I think everybody understands that what you do offensively, especially at the corner positions, can help you in the Gold Glove selection process. But normally a good glove man over at first. That sets up a runner at second with one away, and Braun into center field. That's going to fall, a base hit. And around third trying to score is Parra. Hamilton's got a good arm, but it's offline. Gerardo Parra scores, and the Brewers lead 2-1. Ryan Braun with an RBI single.
Well, that's Joey Votto's run right there. Yeah, he should have caught that ball over at first base. And then a broken bat single, or off the end of the bat. Drives in a run. Good at bat by Ryan Braun with 2 strikes. Isn't trying to get greedy. Serves it into the outfield. Again, you go back to that pickoff play at first base. See Parra looks behind him and knows he's going all the way.
Well, Ryan Braun now has 6 runs batted in on the Brewers' current road trip, which is in game 6 now. They have not lost on this road trip. Swept the Phillies in 4, and then they won last night. And another look at the pickoff attempt, and
yeah, he just got lazy. I mean, that's all that happened over there. And sometimes, again, catching a ton of those over at first base. The one you decide to take off a little bit is the one that ends up costing a run to your ball club.
Well, I hope that not that it matters on the scoreboard, but certainly shouldn't be an E1. Adam Lind, who homered his last time up. Braun takes off, no throw. Braun got a huge jump, and Pena doesn't bother. Braun is still one of the great power speed combo players in the big leagues, and he swipes second base. He moves into scoring position. Stolen base number 11. He's only been caught once.
That's crazy. You see what Braun was doing over there. I mean, he had some steps. He was out there, and you know, Smith just either not paying attention.
Wheels are churning. Braun takes off again. Throw to third. Tag. Safe. Yeah. Frazier was shading the hole a little bit, and Pena actually fired a strike over there, but Frazier coming over to the bag, and Braun is in there, and this one they might take a look at.
But this is where we talk about Smith, you know, being a young guy, his first time out there. Watch the running lead. Look at this. Hop, 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 hop. He did the same thing over at first base. Smith not paying attention at all. Both of those bags really taken against Smith.
Now this one is going to go to a challenge. Yesterday there was a challenge with a play between Frazier and Braun. Braun originally called safe, and the review saw that Frazier did tag him out at third base, and it was overturned. We'll see about this one.
Right, and you know, I'll go back so far as you watch Frazier catch it, and oh yeah,
It's hard to tell when he puts the glove on the back of Braun because he's now in the frame. This may be a better look at it. It's not the super slow-mo look. That's going to be tough. A lot of these bang calls are not being overturned. It's hard to tell whether
you're right. It is hard to tell.
So the crew chief is the home plate umpire, Bill Welke. He'll be the man to make the call here, facing us. And the calling umpire is Tony Randazzo. They review this in Chelsea, New York, at the Replay Command Center. And this one could go either way. I thought last night it was equally as close, and it was overturned. If only Frazier would get out of our way here, we'd be able to tell if he had his glove on his back. It's hard to know if he's.
That looks like glove contact there, but you know, you're right. It's not conclusive. You know, I'll go back to. I think this whole inning though is set up by the missed ball by Votto, because I think that unnerves Smith a bit. Makes the pitch to Braun. Braun gets the base hit, and then on top of that, doesn't pay attention to Braun at first or second base, and in both cases Braun had a running lead, walking lead I should say.
These umpires are no longer in the picture to make the call. They are waiting on a decision from the Replay Review Center in New York. And this is one area that I'd like to see another tweak in the replay review system. I think the replay review system has been outstanding, and the changes that they've been able to make, they've been able to adjust on the fly on a number of calls. But look, if you cannot decide whether he's safe or out with all of the technology and the replays that we've made available, and they have their own cameras too, if you can't make that decision in 90 seconds, then it's kind of against the spirit of what replay review is.
Well, again, we just don't know how many different views they're looking at. And, you know, the bottom line is no matter how much time it takes, you want to get the play right. You know, I do like the suggestion, though, of the people in New York or wherever it is that they don't know what the call was, and that they just watch the play and then they decide what they're seeing.
This is going to be a long replay challenge. One of the elements that they have available in the Replay Review Center, they have the ability to stitch two angles together, and so they can marry two angles with the same time on it, like when the ball was in the glove and when the tag was placed, and they can try to determine how to do that. We took a tour in there a couple of years ago, last year actually. Fascinating work by the technicians that are able to give a regular umpire. There's a regular umpire, we don't know who it is, but a regular umpire is in there who makes that decision. It was last night. Frazier a little fake, and that was overturned as an out, and this call has just been made. You can hear by the crowd reaction. And this call is, I would imagine, going to stand. If they say it's confirmed, they mean they have evidence that shows you that it was called properly. If it is announced that it stands, then it is going to be something that they couldn't tell. And now Bill Welke has just ejected the catcher, Brian PENA. You cannot argue challenges. It's just like balls and strikes. Either way, if he's arguing either version, he's automatically ejected. And Welke ran him quickly.
Yeah, I think probably a lot of frustration for PENA tonight, just because Welke has squeezed the heck out of Josh Smith behind the plate. With a number of calls that he could have had, he didn't get. This is a young guy out on the mound. They're looking for anything he can get.
And now Brian Price is out. He might get his money's worth here. A starting catcher has been ejected. Tucker Barnhart is the other catcher for the Reds who started last night. And unlike a pitcher who would come in and get as much time as he needs to get loose, that is not the case or a position player.
Well, that also takes a decent left-handed bat out of the lineup that has had some success against Nelson.
Pena ejected. And Tucker Barnhart making his way out to home plate. So his 4th of July is over. Barnhart will get a few throws here to get loose, and then we'll be back at it. So Welke makes the call here. 4 minutes 11 seconds on the review. This call is safe. Call stands. Welke says, don't do it. Don't argue this. I got to throw you out. And as soon as he gets back there, Pena says the magic word and out he goes. And it didn't take long.
Well, he did warn him.
Gave him 2 chances and then throws him out.
Again, I think there's more than just that throw down to third. Been some real close pitches tonight. I'm sure Pena wasn't real excited about the job that Welke was doing or has done up to this point, at least for his Reds pitcher.
So Barnhart is in. Adam Lind in a 3-0 count. Well, last night the Reds got one overturned with Frazier and Braun. Not tonight. 3-0 count. Runner at third with 1 away. Price is going to bring his infield in. And Lynn draws the walk. Also of note, because Price did not win that challenge. He is out of challenges the rest of the game. Umpires can go to a review if they choose from the 7th inning on, but Price can't force him to do so. Carlos Gomez now with runners at first and third. The Brewers have taken the lead here in this 5th inning. Ryan Braun drove in PARRA. Lind over at first with a walk. Gomez, a tough guy to double up, and that's inside. That hit him. That is hit batter number 4 for Josh Smith, and this is going to load the bases.
Well, it's not the first time he's been running balls inside all night long. This one, a fastball just keeps bearing in. It's Gomez on the wrist, the hand.
Now Gomez being 10-2 over at first base. That one has hurt him a little bit. And we're going to have a pitching change here. Cincinnati's got Matthews ready in the bullpen, and it looks like Brian Price is going to call for a double switch here. And he goes to the home plate umpire. Now he's on his way to the mound, and that's going to be the end of the line for Josh Smith. So Smith all tied at 1 starting this inning. He's given up 2 hits, a walk, and a hit batter, and he'll exit after 4 1/3. 4 hit batters will set up the double switch when we continue. the hit by pitch on Carlos Gomez. The Reds have made a double switch. So they have Ivan De Jesus Jr. coming in the game to play short. Matthews is on the mound. We saw him in the bullpen. Shane Peterson is going to come on and pinch run for Carlos Gomez, who was hit in the forearm. And Aramis Ramirez will bat with the bases loaded. Matthews' first pitch is a ball inside. So a lot of concern for the Brewers camp with Gomez, their starting center fielder. Ryan Matthews, appearance number 21 on the season. And he takes over with the bases full of Josh Smith's base runners. And you heard Craig Counsell mention in our interview with him between innings a couple of innings ago, here's his hottest hitter right now. Ramirez has 9 RBIs in his last 13 at-bats coming into play today. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning. Up the middle, a base hit. In to score is Ryan Braun. They'll hold Lind at third. And Ramirez continues to deliver for Milwaukee. An RBI single makes it 3-1 Brewers.
Ramirez, as you mentioned, continues to clean up. And it's something he's been able to do his entire career. Really struggled this first part of the year, but the last couple of weeks, last week or so, guys on base in front of him, he's having a good at bat. Worked the count 2-0 and got a pitch he could drive.
RBIs in this inning by Braun and Ramirez. Here is Gene Segura with the bases loaded. Still just 1 out. Well, Bill Welke is wearing a microphone for us here today. We caught some great sound, and we talked about that entire sequence with Brian Pena after the challenge, ejected from the game. Brian Price seemed satisfied with the words of Welke, and take a listen.
You cannot argue a replay. I let you vent and you didn't stop, so I ejected you. End of story. I gave him plenty of rope.
And Wilkie finishing by saying, I gave him plenty of rope. And that goes for everyone, managers, coaches, players. The idea behind replay was to try to actually help speed up games, to avoid so many long confrontations and arguments. So the fact that replay exists eliminates the ability to argue without penalty.
And again, and I'll say it, I think Pena's frustration is just that was a straw that broke the camel's back. I think what's gone on behind the plate, there have been a number of close pitches that he has not been able to get for his pitchers.
Segura in the left center field. Hamilton closes, can't get there. Coming in to score is Adam Lind. And station to station go the Brewers. Another run is in. It is now 4-1 as Gene Segura delivers an RBI single. He has 2 hits tonight, back-to-back ribbies. And 4-1, bases still loaded with 1 out. It is hard to figure what has gotten into the Milwaukee Brewers offense. The last 7 games, you got back-to-back RBI hits by Ramirez and Segura to stretch the lead.
Well, not really a bad pitch. This one right down the middle. Segura just drives that thing into center.
Brewers have won 6 consecutive games. They're averaging about 7.5 runs per game during this stretch. They're averaging 14 hits per game during this stretch.
Well, they start having success. They start believing in themselves. They've had an opportunity to face the Phillies and now the Reds as well. So not as if those pitching staffs.
Scooter Gennett, a base hit to right. 1 run is in Peterson, and around it goes. I think there was a Bugs Bunny cartoon that was similar to this, as I recall.
Well, and they're just hitting the ball hard right now. You know, outside of the Ryan Braun, it's just boom, boom, boom.
5-1 Brewers. Jeff Pico, the pitching coach, with some encouraging words. Starts a little activity in the Cincinnati bullpen. It's Carlos Contreras. Check that. Contreras in the bullpen. I beg your pardon. That is Pedro Villarreal. The Brewers during this road trip entering the game today 5-0, 8 runs a game, a .371 average, pitching pretty well on this road trip. There's Jimmy Nelson, the 9th batter of the inning.
Well, one of the things we did not see is what they've been doing with runners in scoring position. The .382 coming into tonight in that 5-game stretch. Surely bump that up with their success so far this inning.
Last 3 hitters with singles and RBIs. Bases still loaded with 1 out. 5 hits in the inning. Book is now closed on Josh Smith with 5 runs. A key error in this inning by Joey Votto. Nelson shows bunt, and not far enough for Ramirez, a slow runner, to try to score there. This could have been where the inning turned on its ear for Cincinnati, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, you're getting a little lazy over there at first base. You know, and then just one thing follows after another, and he knows it too. I mean, there's frustration over there.
And Nelson, a swing and a miss. Down he goes. It's the 2nd out. Both of the outs in this inning are strikeouts. 6 batters come to the plate between the outs. And the man who started all of this, Gerardo Parra, is back in there, the 10th batter of the inning.
See, Parra's been on base all 3 times. It doesn't get the accolades league wide as some of the other guys on this Milwaukee Brewer team, but Parra's having a heck of a year.
Came to Milwaukee in a trade with the Diamondbacks last year. And that's a balk. And another run's going to score. So Matthews balks in Ramirez. And this is turning into one of the ugliest innings of the year for the Reds. And now Brian Price on his way out, just to at least divert the attention of Bill Welke. I think Matthews was just asking what was a balk, what I do, and Price will get the explanation. Another run is in, makes it 6-1. See if we can pick something up here. Long pause.
Yeah, he did. There was a little flinch right there. There was a little flinch. Not a lot, but enough. Started, didn't continue.
An inning to forget here in the 5th for Cincinnati. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs for Parra. And they're going to go ahead and walk Gerardo Parra now, with Jonathan Lucroy coming up. Got a base open at first. And when you're in an inning like this, you have to resort to some strange measures. Probably the only time in the history of Parra and Lucroy being teammates would you walk Parra to get to Jonathan Lucroy, an all-star caliber catcher.
Well, Lucroy has a distinction or the opportunity to make 2 outs in an inning. Not something you want to do, but it does mean your whole team got to you batted around. So I guess that's a good thing. You're a team player. It's a good thing.
LUCROY is the 11th batter of the inning. So far, all of the runs that are in, or at least 5 of the 6 that are in, are earned runs on Smith. That balk by Matthews is his run. And it's still, we showed you the play at first base. VOTTO missing that throw on a pickoff with PARRA. That still belongs as an error on Smith on the official records.
I'm not sure what they looked at or what they were watching.
Irregardless of who the error belongs to, all of the runs are earned with all of the hits that follow. LUCROY takes a strike. 1-1. Final numbers there on Smith.
Not pretty. And you can see this is a guy that success in the minor leagues was dictated because of his ability to locate. And so far at the big league level just has not been able to find it.
Little half swing. Did he go? He did not. First base umpire is John Tumpane. 2-1 on LUCROY. 3 career grand slams for LUCROY. Brewers had a grand slam last night from Carlos Gomez. It is interesting that the Brewers so far this season have hit 3 grand slams as a team. They have all come against the Reds. Elian Herrera, who's no longer with the Brewers big league club. Ryan Braun and Gomez last night.
LUCROY, the only Milwaukee Brewer hitter besides the pitcher to not reach base yet tonight.
He's always got that going for him.
But he looks good.
He's Captain America. Here's a 2-2. And he's able to check his swing. They'll ask again. No swing. So the count goes full. And the merry-go-round will begin. What an eternity it feels like for Reds fans here in this 5th inning. A lot has gone wrong. Milwaukee up 6-1. Bases loaded, 2 outs. LUCROY thinking about a knockout punch here. Runners go. The pitch is low. It is a bases loaded walk, and it is 7-1. And Reds fans voicing their displeasure. Brian Price will make the call to the bullpen again. Second pitching change of the inning. We take a break. The Brewers with 7 on the board. It's 7-1 now. We're still at play in the 5th. The official vehicle of Major League Baseball. What's better than that, huh? Hanging out with Dad. A road game for those folks.
And he's got a Milwaukee Brewer hat on. That's why it's going really well for him tonight.
Good looking outfit for the little girl and the dad himself. All right, so Pedro Villarreal will pitch for Cincinnati's the third pitcher of the inning. This has been a disaster for the Reds. This inning began with a 1-1 tie on the scoreboard. And the Brewers have scored 6 runs. Ryan Braun batting for the second time. He drove in a run with a single. He was involved in a play at third base that went to a challenge. Braun bounces to third, and this inning is mercifully over for the Cincinnati Reds. 5 hits, 3 walks. There was a hit batter. It was an ejection. It all started with this misplay by Joey Votto, and the Brewers put 6 on the board. 7-1 Milwaukee. Gomez was taken out after being hit by a pitch. Shane Peterson, who ran for Gomez, will head out to left field. And Carlos Gomez drilled by this Josh Smith pitch, the 4th hit batter of the game. And Gomez had to leave, and we will report the injury when we get word from the Milwaukee Brewers. Ivan De Jesus Jr. came in on a double switch. He will lead off for Cincinnati, batting in the 8th spot in the Cincinnati order. And so now Jimmy Nelson, Eric, last time he was on the mound, it was a 1-1 game. He has a 6-run lead to work with.
But he's still got to feel like it's a close game. You know, don't get out there, be lazy. You'd like to just shut the door real quick and get your offense back up to the plate. You don't want to give the Reds any life, because right now they're just walking around heads down and just counting the innings down.
12 batters come to the plate for the Brewers in the 5th. 6 runs on 5 hits and an error. That ball's hit deep, way back. Braun will watch this one fly out of here. A home run. Ivan De Jesus Jr. Solo shot to start the 5th inning for Cincinnati. Home run number 3 of the year. And that's a good way to answer for the Reds. He gives their big crowd something to cheer about here at Great American Ballpark.
Well, I think he's hit it right on the head. At least he brought a little life into this place and give the guys a little something to feel good about. Just a fastball up out over the zone. Does a nice job of squaring that thing up, going with it. Nelson was high with all of his pitches at him for that at bat.
Billy Hamilton now takes ball 1.
You know, that's the only thing you worry about. It's great that the Brewers had an offensive inning like they did, but it was a long inning for Jimmy Nelson to sit.
Hamilton struck out his first time up at a 9-pitch at bat against Jimmy Nelson. This is the 9th game of the season series between the Brewers and the Reds, and look at all of the home run action. 32 home runs in this, the 9th game. 5 grand slams.
Yeah, that's a killer. 5 grand slams.
3 by the Brewers. And De Jesus Jr. with a home run. 2 hitter-friendly ballparks, Miller Park in Milwaukee and Great American Ballpark here in Cincinnati. Here's a 1-2. Hamilton fouls it away. It's kind of timely that Brian Price was talking to us about Ivan De Jesus Jr. and the kind of player he's been. He's turned himself into a very good utility man who can play a lot of different positions. And he shows up in a double switch and hits a home run his first time up. Bouncing ball to Lynn. Nelson better hurry. A race to the bag and out at first. Wow. Very few make it that close on what is normally a routine 3-1 putout, but Billy Hamilton is a difference maker.
Well, nice play by the big man Jimmy Nelson getting over there. Lynn makes a nice play. Good feed, but Nelson doing a great job of hustling over there and then catching the ball and finding the bag.
Good call by first base umpire John Tumpane. He was right on it. Here's Brandon Phillips with 1 away. Out to Jeanette. 1 second baseman to the other. 2 gone. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. What a beautiful Saturday night on the banks of the Ohio River, separating Kentucky from Ohio, just beyond the right field wall. They got a big crowd, a sellout tonight, fireworks after the game, and they have not had much to cheer about in this one. Their division rivals, the Brewers, up 7-2. Joey Votto with 2 away. They added a big new scoreboard. It just was unveiled yesterday in right field, getting ready for the All-Star festivities. Right out of the box. A giant scoreboard. Interesting ballpark here, and you got the giant party boat out in center field. They're going to have a lot of fun for the All-Star festivities. They do it well. I worked a couple of playoff series here in Cincinnati, and man, was this place loud. Got a great history here. The original professional team, the Cincinnati Reds, 1869. And the mustache motif, part of their logo. Had an All-Star game here in Cincinnati at Riverfront back in 1988. First All-Star game since. Votto whistles one back up the middle, of base hit. A shot on a 2-1 pitch. That extends the inning, gives us a chance to check back in with Chris Myers. He's in Los Angeles for a game break. Chris? perhaps an all-star this year, Adrian Gonzalez. Zach Greinke's headed to the all-star game with his minuscule 1.49 ERA. Todd Frazier now for Cincinnati with Votto at first. Greinke's having a great year. Who's going to start the all-star game for the National League? Got some good candidates. Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, maybe Zach Greinke.
Even talking about Johnny Cueto. And if he does not pitch in that Sunday game right before the break.
Frazier, center field, hit well. Back is Parra at the track. He's got it for the out. Frazier just missed it on the bat by an inch maybe. Inning is over. The Reds get one on a homer from DeJesus Jr. 7-2. Sponsored by the Dodge Brothers. 100 years later, their spirit lives on. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Fireworks after the game last night. And yeah, that's the best uni of the night. Best dressed fan. Congratulations, sir. Eric, tell him what he's won.
That is sweet. Look at that thing.
That's worth a raspberry and chip Grater's ice cream, is it not?
Oh, you're not lying.
Maybe 2 scoops.
Oof.
Adam Lind will lead off for Milwaukee. Lind walked last inning in the big inning for the Brewers, the 6-run inning. He hit a home run to tie the game in the 4th. And Adam Lind is starting to put together a very impressive season in his first year in the National League. Paul Goldschmidt is having an MVP season for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And he is going to be the starter at first base, one would think. Barring some kind of scandal in the voting, and that would never happen. I heard Chris give the update on Adrian Gonzalez. He hit his 15th home run of the season. A solo home run for the Dodgers just a moment ago. Joey Votto's numbers are comparable. Who will be the all-star first baseman this year as Lynn drives one to left center, a base hit. And the hits keep coming. Eric, do you like blind studies?
Well, I think I'm going to like them now, right?
Let's take one. All right, let's go ahead and give Goldschmidt the starting nod. Pick who you want out of the next three. Gonzalez, look at the numbers. And then you got Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs. That's not a bad call. This one might surprise you, though.
Who's this? Votto? No, Adam Lind. Wow.
How about that?
Would not have thought that. And again, home run tonight.
Numbers
on base 4 times.
Those were the stats entering tonight's play. So Lind is homered. Gonzalez is homered. And Votto didn't even make that list when you go with the blind study.
Now, Adam Lind, another one. Because the Brewers have struggled this year, he hasn't got a lot of notoriety nationally. You know, he and Parra both having nice seasons, but you saw with those numbers, as good as any other first baseman not named Goldschmidt.
Shane Peterson legs out the relay, and the Reds get one. Can't turn to double play. Peterson runs very well. And so the lead runner Lind is put out. 4-6, one away for the Brewers here in the 6th inning. That'll bring up Aramis Ramirez.
Aramis, the big hit with the bases loaded to get that merry-go-round moving in the last inning. Craig Counsell telling us before the game that this was the guy. Just because everybody in front of him has been getting on, and now the last week or so he's been swinging the bat well, driving in runs. He's had a very, very nice career. Not defensively what he once was, but always a guy that could hit in the middle of the lineup, drive in runs, love to hit pressure situations.
A very streaky hitter throughout his career, Aramis Ramirez. It's one of the reasons he has not shown up in many all-star games. He is a second-half hitter. His numbers about, as far as batting average, about 25-30 points higher in second halves of seasons versus first halves. He's had a long career. Came to the big leagues in '98. He was 19 with the Pirates. He spent his entire career in the Central Division. Pirates, Cubs, and now in his 4th year with the Brewers. And you might be surprised to know that Aramis Ramirez, as a third baseman, ranks 5th on the all-time major league list at that position in home runs. 374. Adrian Beltre is just ahead of him with 380.
Always a guy, though, that could drive in runs. And a teammate of mine in Chicago, the Cubs, in 2003. Very patient when he came up with runners in scoring position. He could almost 1,400 RBIs.
He announced prior to the season this would be his last season. And I wonder if that goes into the thinking of a contending team right now looking for a right-handed bat, especially in the American League where you could DH him. He's never really had a lot of success as a DH, hasn't been in that role much with his entire career in the National League. You think that factors? The fact that he knows he's done at the end of the year, good or bad?
Well, I think teams are going to have to see what's going on right now. That's got to happen for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And I mean, him swinging the bat well and being productive. You're not going to use him defensively anymore. But again, as a right-handed guy off the bench or somebody that can DH, because he's always been productive with runners in scoring position, just will give you a good at-bat.
Villarreal misses, and Ramirez draws the walk. First and second with one out. And the Brewers with more runners here in the 6th. Well, those extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball. One night, they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, Tuesday, July 14th, right here on Fox. Got some fireworks going off over there in Kentucky. Pop-up Foul territory. Segura sends it out of play. Milwaukee with a 6-run 5th inning. It all fell apart for the Reds.
Well, and Parra was the guy to get it going. I mean, remember last night, leads off the game with a home run. In that 5th inning, leads off with a base hit. You know, that's a guy we were just talking about, Aramis Ramirez, somebody that could help a club. You know, getting back to this Brewer ball club, there's so many guys, and Parra is a guy I think really somebody can grab him, run him out there every day, and put him at the top of the lineup.
Kentucky fireworks. Those are different than Ohio fireworks, by the way. Segura, a little tapper, going to be a tough play. He runs well. Villarreal, no throw. And another hit for the Brewers shortstop, Gene Segura, on base for the 4th time. 3 for 3 and hit by a pitch tonight. And again, the Brewers have the bases loaded here in the 6th inning. Boy, when does it end for the Cincinnati Reds pitching staff? Brian Price has got to be wondering how he's going to get to the finish line in this game. There's 3 pitchers, 2 relievers last inning. You know he's trying to get some length out of Villarreal here tonight. But the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Right, this is the type of game, though, that you may see Chapman just to get some work. Save the bullpen a little bit, get him out here.
The hometown kid, Scooter Gennett, born in Cincinnati, grew up here. He was sent to Florida with his family as a 12-year-old, but then returned to Cincinnati in the summers to play amateur ball as a high schooler. He loves Cincinnati, has a lot of friends and family still in the area. He bats with the bases loaded. And a pop-up. Over is De Jesus. He'll make the call and the catch. That's in fair territory. Scooter Gennett's great moment of his big league career, at least his first great moment, was his first major league home run back in 2013. Came against Bronson Arroyo. First big league home run. You never forget it, especially in the town where you were raised.
Ironically, just having a little flashback, first home run I ever hit was in my hometown. I was playing for the Dodgers. We were in San Diego in April. Something I'll never forget.
Who'd you hit it off of?
Craig Lefferts, inside fastball.
Did you kind of
have
a little swag around the bases?
No swag.
Or
I couldn't believe it.
Did you?
That was just full on sprint. Which for me a sprint was like a trot.
Yeah, flying around the bags. Too bad we didn't have StatCast back then. Boy, you guys rolled out prospect after prospect in those years with the Dodgers. Those rookies of the year. That was a golden era for prospects.
Wow. Yeah, no, we had a stretch. We had a stretch developing a lot of young players. You know, I think though you always need the complimentary veteran presence, somebody that's been around for a while and to help a team to get it over the hump.
So you had Mondesi, Hideo Nomo,
Piazza,
Hollinsworth,
and myself.
Yeah, what a run of rookies of the year. Jimmy Nelson takes a ball. Yeah, well, the Dodgers got it going again. I saw, Jock Peterson, he put you in the news again. So Jock Peterson hit his 20th home run and the first rookie since you and Piazza. So you and Piazza are the 20 home run club as rookies. And then Peterson just
Piazza didn't mess around. He went to the 30 home run.
Yeah,
he didn't. He said, I'll just hang out with the 20 for just a little bit.
Nelson pops this one up with 2 away. That should get him out of the inning. And with the bases loaded and 1 out, a couple of pop-ups for Villarreal. Inning over, 7-2 Milwaukee. The Redlegs are coming to bat. Wisconsin native, played for 5 teams during his long career, and he's been involved in some memorable moments. How about this? 1997 World Series, Game 7, Edgar Renteria singles, the iconic image of Counsell scoring the World Series winning run. And then in 2001, Game 7 with the game tied, Counsell was hit by a pitch that set up the Luis Gonzalez base hit to win it. Jay Bell scored that winning run. Craig Counsell is the only player in Major League Baseball history to twice be on base when a World Series Game 7 ended in a walk-off. That is the Pepsi most thrilling historical moment. And there is Jay Bell in that other dugout. He scored that winning run for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Had a probable victory. And that great call by Tim McCarver, who set it up. Craig Counsell, an under-the-radar player who jumped right into the center stage, and in that 2001 season, he was the MVP of the NLCS that year. A drive by Bruce, that's going to shoot the gap all the way to the fence. It goes. Bruce into second base with a double. He has 3 hits against Jimmy Nelson this season, all of them for extra bases. A home run, now 2 doubles.
Fastball up and away, he just drives this ball to left center. See it tailing away, he doesn't try to pull it or anything. Reds still have 4 at bats, and they don't want to get to the past that 7th inning, because after the 7th inning, if the Brewers are leading, and you would know this because you're living it, 27-0 this year.
That is the best part of their team. In a down year, it's been a challenge to get to that part of the Brewers team, but that is the best part, no question. Tucker Barnhart's going to bat for the first time. Brian Pena was ejected in that marathon 5th inning. So Barnhart, who started last night,
well, they get another left-handed hitter, and replacing Pena, Tucker Barnhart, but Pena had lined to right and had a bullet up the middle off of Nelson. If the Reds can get something going, they sneak back into this ball game. It just has felt all Milwaukee tonight, but 5-run ball game right now.
Well, that is certainly doable in this ballpark. Hot ground ball right to Jeanette. Barnhart grounds out. Bruce does advance. Got the first out here in the 6th inning. So one away with Bruce at third, and that'll bring up Marlon Byrd, who opened up our scoring tonight with a home run in the 2nd.
Yeah, well, look at this home run right here. When he makes contact, look at the angle of the elbow. It's bent. That is extension, ladies and gentlemen. That's when you want to make contact. Then you follow through. That's where the arms straighten out. But when you're at your strongest point, that back elbow is tucked into the side. That's when you're making contact.
13th, make it his 14th homer of the year, and he swings and lines out into left. That's going to bring in a run. So the Reds starting to chip away a little bit. They got a run on a homer by DeJesus in the 5th. Now Byrd with his 2nd RBI.
Well, he's out in front of this one, an off-speed pitch a bit away. Byrd just keeps his hands going through, hits it off the end of the bat, but strong enough to serve it out to left field.
He's 2 out of 3, 2 runs batted in, and Cincinnati is within 4. Skip Schumacher will bat. No hit for Villarreal. The pitcher spot for the Reds right now in the 7th spot in the lineup after the double switch in the 5th. Schumacher pinch hitting with 1 away and a runner at first. What's notable about the night offensively for the Brewers, while they have scored 7 runs and have 10 hits, they've stranded 11. Ground ball. Chance to turn it. Jeanette misses there. Lynn misses there, but able to get the tag on it. Well, that thing was blowing up quickly for Milwaukee, and they are lucky to salvage 1 out.
Again, Brewers have the lead. Jeanette coming in, trying to make the tag. Byrd alertly stops, sidesteps him. Not sure why Jeanette tried to throw it overhand. Could have just continued to run and just shoveled it to Lynn.
Craig Counsell is out. I believe he is trying to find out if there was a baseline infraction there, which there was not. Michael Blazek is loosening in the Brewers bullpen. A good feed over to Lynn. Because Byrd had to stop and reroute, Lynn's got a chance at an out at second base if Jeanette can make a good throw to first and hit him in stride. Didn't happen. Now Bird's at second with 2 away. Here is DeJesus.
Well, let's see if he gets a breaking ball in the first pitch. He hit a fastball out over the right field wall in his last at bat. Here's your breaking ball.
DeJesus Jr., the son of a big leaguer. His dad had a nice long career, 15-year career in the major leagues. He was a Dodger, Cub, and a Philly.
Well, and he's in part of that deal that brought Ryan Sandberg over to the Chicago Cubs. Really known for his fielding prowess.
Two outs, 2-0 the count. Well, another run here for the Reds, and things get very interesting. Starts to dial up a little more pressure on the Brewers. I'm sure Counsell would love to get Jimmy Nelson through this 6th inning and then call it a night. Pitch count at 89. He's fallen behind 3-0. And that one's in there for a strike.
Nelson pretty consistent every inning as far as pitch count.
Got a hitter's count on DeJesus. And he missed badly. Nelson walks DeJesus. And now things start to get interesting. 2 on with 2 away. In a 4-run game. And Jonathan Lucroy is on his way out to talk to his big right-hander. So you want to be a manager, Craig Counsell. Tough decisions. Well, back in the 3rd inning when Carlos Gomez was still in the game, he's leaving a few treats for his center field counterpart, Billy Hamilton. I couldn't quite make that out, but Hamilton, the next inning, having a chuckle, says thank you very much. You got to have a little fun at the old ballpark.
But you know, and sometimes you see first basemen, they'll play tic-tac-toe over there on the infield with one another. Mark Grace used to do it.
Counsell is out, and he's going to make the call to the bullpen. I'm not sure he went out to take him out, but Nelson might have indicated he's done for the night. So here comes Michael Blazek. Hard-throwing right-hander is in. A hard-throwing right-hander is leaving. Pitching change in Cincinnati. Oh, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. It is the FIFA Women's World Cup final. United States versus Japan. That is going to be epic tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Good luck to the United States women. Jimmy Nelson is out. 5 2/3 innings. He is in line for the win, but this game is certainly not in the books yet. It is 7-3 Brewers after his first walk. He is out. Craig Counsell will bring on Michael Blazek.
Another hard thrower. Good stuff. You see that 1.7 ERA. And facing guy Hamilton that struck out, grounded to first so far.
Hamilton up there with 2 on, 2 out. Top of the order due up next. Every game has its moment. The Brewers had their moment with a 6-run 5th. The Reds might have a moment here with a base hit. Hamilton fouls it away, was late.
Late on a high fastball. And again, that's something that anything up in the zone, he's going to have to learn to stay off of. You see where this pitch is. That's up shoulder height. I mean, I'm not even sure that he'd call that a strike. Again, with a weapon that he has as far as speed, no business hitting the ball above his waist.
1 ball, 1 strike. Birds out at second. DeJesus at first. And that ball is hit high in the air. right field, playable for Ryan Braun, and that will retire the side. The Reds had a chance. Hamilton with a fly out. Cincinnati does get one back. It's 7-3 Milwaukee. Night as we head to the 7th inning. It'll be the former Milwaukee Brewer Manny Parra, who's pitching well out of Brian Price's bullpen this year in Cincinnati.
Yeah, good stuff out of the bullpen. It's another guy that teams can look at and say, look, at this would be a guy that we could add to our bullpen, a left-handed specialist, but can also get right-handers out as well. Good live arm. Used to be a pretty darn good starter for this Brewer ball club.
Gerardo Parra will lead off for the Brewers. He has been on all 4 trips to the plate tonight. 2 hits, a hit by pitch, and an intentional walk as he waves and misses. Parra has upped his batting average to .308. He's having a huge road trip for Milwaukee. A wave and a miss. Tough pitch to handle. And it's quickly 0-2. So Parra in the 6 games of this road trip. He scored 7 runs, mostly hitting out of the leadoff spot. He shared that role with Gene Segura. He's getting on base at a nearly 600 clip. 9 hits on the road trip prior to this one here tonight. He's got 2 hits tonight.
Well, coming in tonight in these road games, the Brewers have scored the first inning in all of them. This man, a big reason for it. Didn't score in the first inning tonight, but made up for it in that 5th.
And a chopper out to second base. The Gold Glover Phillips will make the play for out number 1. First time Parra has been retired tonight. Got an interesting hue coming across Great American Ballpark. So across the Ohio River, the fireworks show is awesome from our vantage point. Over there in Newport and Covington, Kentucky. So the fireworks show is going crazy. So it's actually created all this smoke that is covering Great American Ballpark right now. We must be downwind from Kentucky. We're catching all the residual.
And there will be a fireworks show here at the stadium after tonight's ball game.
Could almost have a laser show with all the smoke here right now. Feels like the Grateful Dead reunion tour right now.
That's going on in Chicago, isn't it? That's some of our colleagues out there.
LUCROY with one away. LUCROY walked with the bases loaded his last time up. That was in that 6-run 5th inning. Got an RBI the easy way. Got a couple of ribbies in this series. A familiar pitcher on the mound for LUCROY. His old battery mate, Manny PARRA. PARRA had his moments as a Brewers starter. He was inconsistent as a starter, but no question about his stuff. Boy, he could light it up. Pretty famous incident in Brewer history with Manny PARRA and Prince Fielder in an altercation in the dugout right here in Cincinnati. After a bad start by PARRA, he's really been able to reinvent himself as a reliever here. Brian Price did a great job with him, first as a pitching coach, then manager. Hitters count for LUCROY, and he takes ball 4. A 1-out base runner. A reminder to follow your favorite team and players all season with MLB.com At Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and plenty more at MLB.com At Bat now. That was from last night. The fireworks. What a great scene there hanging out on the Ohio. They'll do the same tonight. If this game ends. Here's Ryan Braun. He takes a ball down and in.
Well, the Reds haven't held themselves pitching wise. 9 runners reaching base either on walks or hit by pitches. It's allowed for a runner on every inning with the Milwaukee offense. Haven't had a 1-2-3 inning yet for this Reds ball club.
PARRA is still a good life on his fastball, especially in the bullpen where he can let it loose a little bit in the mid-90s. Gerardo PARRA and Hernan Perez having some fun across the way with the Reds. PARRA also has a good split finger fastball.
But whatever he has, he's got to throw it for a strike. It's one of the things that's plagued this ball club tonight. Brewers have taken their walks. I mentioned a few hit by pitches. Got themselves into hitters counts as well.
That one's in there. Back to the Heat. Well, Cincinnati had a golden opportunity last inning. They did score 1. But had Hamilton at the plate with 2 on. If he gets on or he drives in a run, then the top of the order comes up. You never know. Now the Brewers trying to answer that run in the 6th. Braun has an RBI tonight. That came back in the 5th. Started that run for Milwaukee. He put the Brewers on top. It was 1-1 beginning the 5th inning. And the Brewers had RBI singles from Braun. And then in succession, Ramirez, Segura, and Jeanette. Looked like the Congo line going around the bases. 3-1 to Braun. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks. This is just an agonizing game for the fans to watch here, especially this sellout crowd waiting to see the fireworks show and get on with their Independence Day activities. Milwaukee needs a water break mid-inning.
Well, I'm sure the fans are weighing that. Do we stay for the fireworks and watch some more of this, or? I mean, the thing that the pace of the game and what it does to your fielders when, as a pitcher, you're walking guys and you're not involved in that. And then when you do expect them to make a play, it's like, oh, hey, wow.
Adam Lind, who homered in the fourth. He has been on all 4 times tonight. He takes a strike. It's an interesting phenomenon here in Cincinnati that I don't know if it's happening everywhere else, but it's the new wave. It is the flashing lights of the cell phone all around the stadium. Last night it happened while Joey Votto was at the plate. He struck out and he was harumphing all the way back to the dugout about the lights.
They doing that in Milwaukee?
No.
No? Hadn't reached it there yet?
The Brewers fans are still
doing the beach ball?
Very much content with the wave. Every now and then. Cell phone lights. Seems like a distraction. Would that bother you as a hitter?
Well, there's nothing in the background, so it wouldn't. Now, if I made an out, I'd probably say that was my reason.
You'd be harumphing like Joey Votto. Yeah. Is it bothering you as a TV analyst?
The walks and hit by pitches bother me. That's about it.
Adam Lind fouls it away. You know, all that really matters at this point is here in Cincinnati, it's 9 minutes after 10. Graders closes at 11.
Don't say it.
So that's really the most important part of this situation right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Adam Lind. And that one's in there. A called strike 3. Lind is retired, a strikeout after 2 walks. 2 men are out.
Nice pitch by Parr again. Tough on left-handed hitters, just on the outer part of the plate. Welke gives him the call there. First time Lind has been retired tonight.
Two outs for Shane Peterson. By the way, we have not gotten word yet on Carlos Gomez. He left this game in the 5th inning, hit by pitch. So no word yet on Gomez. He got hit in the forearm. Peterson pinch ran for him and batting for the 2nd time now. If that information comes to us about Gomez, we'll certainly pass it along.
Nice pitch by Parra. Breaking ball in the outer part.
You can even hear or read the lips of Shane Peterson. Nice pitch. Lefty on lefty matchup. Parra in his time with the Brewers actually fared better against right-handed hitters than he did lefties with his splitter. And out he goes. Parra pumps the fist. Back-to-back strikeout. Strands 2. I got a little surprise for you when we come back, Eric. I'm going to cheer you up. I got a little gift.
I'm looking for it.
By Budweiser, make the plan to make it home. And by Dodge Brothers, 100 years later, their spirit lives on. 4th of July baseball here on Fox tonight. The Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds. It is 7-3 Milwaukee. Don't forget, tomorrow the 2015 Women's World Cup final is coming. Team USA and Japan making up the final. That's a rematch from 4 years ago. 5 Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Only on Fox. Also streaming live on Fox Sports Go. I told you I got you a gift. That's it. This came.
I know. I'm going to have this thing on my couch tomorrow in LA.
Nice. You are.
Yeah.
It came from the mothership, and it's a gift for the. It's the women's the soccer jerseys they're going to wear tomorrow.
I'm ready for it. I'll be honest with you. I'm ready to watch it right now.
I figure I needed you to get that on before your 3rd cup of ice cream, because the boiler's starting to like.
It's covering up. It's covering up. You know. Hey. I know I'm going to burn off a lot of calories rooting tomorrow for the USA team.
All right, go USA.
Yes, let's go, ladies.
On the 5th of July, we'll make that a new holiday as well. It's been fun to watch. Thrilling victory over Germany earlier in the week. They're all decked out. They're trying to hang in there. They're being positive. That Midwest positivity. Well, Adam Lynn tied this game. In our Budweiser game summary, it was 1-0 before that home run. Bird hit the homer for the Reds. Lynn tied it in the 4th. And then the Brewers scoring 6 runs in the 5th inning. Our game summary, courtesy of Budweiser. 12 men to the plate in a 6-run 5th. Josh Smith started. He hit 4 batters, including Gomez, who is out of the game and in the clubhouse. And you see the night of Adam Lynn and GERARDO PARRA. They continue to swing the bats well. The Brewers offensively continue to be a story. It's another double-digit hit night for Milwaukee. So the Brewers now, in the 6 games of this road trip, have 85 hits in 6 games. And they have scored 47 runs in 6 games. And with all that being said, the Brewers have stranded 13 runners, and the Reds are still in striking distance, down 4. Michael Blazek will continue. Getting out of the 6th inning. A lazy fly ball out to left. Shane Peterson is there for out number 1.
Well, we talked about it earlier. If the Reds don't do something this inning, history tells us, at least this year, game is over. Brewers have not lost a game in which they've led after 7. 27-0 coming into tonight.
Here's Joey Votto with 1 away. He's 1 out of 3 tonight. He hit a rocket his last time up, back up the middle. And a base hit to center field. Good breaking ball from Blazek to start him. Jimmy Nelson, the Brewers starter, went 5 2/3, 3 earned runs allowed, had a walk and 5 strikeouts. His walk came to the final batter. Votto is out. 2 up and 2 down. And here comes Todd Frazier. Frazier with 2 hits tonight. Had a double in the 1st, a single in the 4th. 2 out of 3. Whether he is the starter or not for the National League at the All-Star game here in Cincy next week, he is going to be the unofficial All-Star ambassador for the Reds. And it is a role he embraces. He is a fun-loving guy. We had Walt Jocketty on earlier in the broadcast, back in the 4th inning, and we talked about a lot of subjects. He said he hasn't gotten many calls on Johnny Cueto. He certainly would listen. He's going to have to be overwhelmed, which I'm sure some teams would be willing to do. Here's a backhanded stop, but unable to make the play, Segura. And Todd Frazier will reach with his 3rd hit of the night. That's a 2-out infield single. One of the final thoughts that Walt Jocketty had, Eric asked him the question, and concerning Frazier, he said, no dice, he is untouchable. He's the one guy that is not available. Trying to build it around Todd Frazier. Counsell's on his way out, And he's going to take the ball from Blazik. In comes his power left-hander, Will Smith. The Reds not dying easily here tonight. Gather in the Queen City. The Midsummer Classic. Don't forget, it all comes your way July 14th, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, here on Fox, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. This is going to be a blast this year. You know, Todd Frazier is headed that way. Whether he'll be a starter or not, we do not know. Todd Frazier and trying to become an all-star for the 2nd consecutive season. There's some interesting names on that list. All-star third baseman Scott Rowland had a couple of years. Aaron Boone, Chris Sabo, that was one of my favorite guys. Spuds, back in the late 80s in the World Series teams with the Reds. Great night. Interesting, Pete Rose on there as well, and 3 times an all-star as a third baseman. Here is Jay Bruce. Will Smith is the new pitcher. And a wave and a miss of Jay Bruce.
Well, how about Craig Counsell talking about Will Smith, his left-handed specialist, as far as somebody that could make the All-Star team or should make the All-Star team. We always talk about the game counts and it means something. You're talking about home field advantage for the World Series. Well, this is a guy that he said he would absolutely have on the ball club in order to win a game. Bring him in to face a tough left-handed hitter.
His numbers jump off the page. ERAs with relievers can sometimes be a little iffy, but Smith, for the most part, starts innings for Milwaukee. This time, he inherits a base runner, and he's got Bruce in the air. Popped him up, third base. Ramirez foul grounds. The inning is over, and Will Smith comes on to get a big left-handed bat. 7-3, 7 in the books. The Brewers lead, and they're coming up. is pitcher number 5 of the night, J.J. Hoover, who is operating as the setup man now for Cincinnati. He's had great numbers, but he is pitching in a 7-3 game where his club is trailing. And Aramis Ramirez will lead off. The scoreboard encouraging the sellout crowd to break loose a little, have a little fun tonight. Will Smith just squashed a rally. Jay Bruce had to pop up with a runner at first. J.J. Hoover setting up for Aroldis Chapman. Reds are hopeful to get Sean Marshall back at some point, the big lefty. As Ramirez goes down the right field line, that is a fair ball. It hit the line. Ramirez on his way to second. The throw and out at second. What a peg by Bruce. From the corner in right field on one hop. Right on the money to get the slow running Ramirez.
Well, Bruce has to go into that corner. You see the ball hit the line. Great call by the first base umpire. He gets it, just fires it in. Nice one hopper. De Jesus gets it. Boom. Ramos doesn't run like he used to. He's kind of jogging down there. He's got this one. Hey, I got this easy. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Wait. No. Oh.
It was a perfect throw from Bruce. It had to be. And not a lot of momentum to get into a slide there for Ramos Ramirez.
It's almost kind of sit down and stop.
Ramirez has had a lot of hamstring problems the last couple of years for the Brewers.
You know, and actually, I joke about it, but he's running the bases smart there. As far as if he's going to go, you can't be sprinting down to first and turning on, because if you get hurt, that's problems for this lineup.
Gene Segura pops this one up. Bruce will call off Phillips for the second out.
I mean, the smart move is don't go to second, but on the flip side, you don't kill yourself trying to get there. Not in a game in July right now.
Well, Milwaukee has another double-digit hit total. So this is the first time since 1999 that the Brewers have had 7 consecutive road games with 10 or more hits. Now, on 4 occasions on this road trip, they've had at least 16 hits. 3 times they've had 16 hits. The other, they had 17 hits in Philadelphia. This is a window of offense that is pretty rare in Brewers franchise history.
Darnell Coles, DC, getting it done. Hitting coach.
Yeah, the hitting coach is sleeping well these days. Not the case earlier in the season. Scooter Gennett bats with 2 outs, nobody on. Brewers in the 8th. A 6-run 5th separated Milwaukee in this one. Hoover's taken advantage of his opportunity this year, setting up for Chapman. He was a AAA closer in the Braves system. Cincinnati got him a couple of years ago for Juan Francisco. Straight up. Hoover strikes out Gennett. Inning over. 3-batter inning for J.J. Hoover. To the bottom of the 8th. The Reds are up, down 4. of MLB. And by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. All kind of fireworks going on. Last night, tonight, they're already started over there in Kentucky. Patiently waiting here in Cincinnati. Independence Day. And nothing better than 4th of July baseball. Great to have you with us on Fox. Will Smith back out there. Backhanded by Segura. Long throw is in time for the out. Tucker Barnhart is retired. He's 0 for 2. Excellent play by a former All-Star shortstop, Gene Segura. And Smith has retired the first 2. And now Craig Counsell is going to come on and make a double switch here. So Smith gets Bruce and Barnhart. And with the right-handers coming up, Counsell is going to make the play. So Jeremy Jeffress, hard-throwing right-hander, is in. Hernan Perez will take over at third. We'll set it all up. Leverage relievers here with a 4-run lead. First Will Smith, now Jeremy Jeffress here.
Yeah, not messing around here. A power sinker. He started in this Milwaukee organization, found his way to Kansas City, Toronto, and then back here he's got a home.
Hernan Perez will take over at third, so Aramis Ramirez is out. Perez, a much better defender. That's a common move by Counsell with a lead late. So Smith gets 2 outs. Gets the final out of the 7th, the first out of the 8th. Marlon Byrd with 1 away. Jeremy Jeffress, hard throwing right-hander. He'll break a few bats when he's right. His first time around with Milwaukee, he threw straight over the top. And he threw 100. But he got hit around a little bit. And he was packaged in the deal for Zach Greinke. He was one of the 4 that went to Kansas City. The 2 you know the most about, Alcides Escobar and Lorenzo Cain. The other 2, Jeremy Jeffress and Jake Odorizzi, who's now with the Rays. 1-2 on Byrd.
Well, you talk about not throwing over the top as much, getting more movement, more life on the ball.
2-strike pitch eats him up. Big chopper over to Perez. And a wild throw. Safe is the call. Lind went for a last-minute tag, and that might have given the information that John Tumpay needed to call him safe, that's going to be an E5 on the normally sure-handed Perez.
I'm not so sure he didn't hold the bag. You know, it's like you said, though, when he goes for that tag, yeah, you know, a lot of times, yeah, he's on. It looks like he's on the base. A lot of times, to the naked eye, that's tough. That's tough.
Now, as a first baseman, are you ever in a thought process that you try to sell that as an out?
100 times over before the replay.
Yeah.
Before the replay situation, so I said that's a lost art, because that was something that you would practice and you would sell. You wouldn't be on the base, you'd be off, you'd get out of there quick, but you can't do that now because of replay.
Now that is an E5. Jason Bourgeois will bat for the first time, pinch hitting. Just got back off the disabled list. It's only his third game. He has just 3 at-bats. He had a hit last night, his first hit of the year. Another former Brewer here, Jason Bourgeois. Runner at first, 1 man out. On the ground. Segura to Jeanette, and Bourgeois too fast. Lynn does well to keep it out of the dugout. And the second out of the inning. Let's take you back to the 5th. Carlos Gomez, an all-star starter last year. He got hit in the arm, the 4th hit batter by starter Josh Smith. Had to leave the game. We do have an update from the Brewers clubhouse. They actually took Gomez for x-rays on site, and those x-rays were negative, and that is positive for the Brewers. So Gomez lifted in the 5th inning, but I would imagine day to day they may give him a couple to heal up. Final game of the series is a day game tomorrow. 2 outs with a runner at first. Here is DeJesus.
95 running in on the hands. Not comfortable at bat for any of these Reds hitters. He talked about him dropping down a little bit, not so much over the top, and we've seen 2 balls that just ate up right-handed hitters. Ground balls to both third and short respectively.
Jeremy Jefferson, Will Smith alternate in the setup role. There's no real defined role for Craig Counsell. It depends on the matchups. It depends on where the left-handers fall in the lineup. If there is a string of left-handed batters, he'll bring on Smith. Otherwise, it would be Jeffress. Counsell feels like both could be closers one day. Late on the fastball to Jesus. It's 2-1. That gives you an idea of the velocity and the run of Jeffress' fastball. That's a 2-0 fastball count for DeJesus, and he was way late. (7-3) Brewers. Reds with a runner on, and a slow roller. Going to be a tough play coming in. Perez, no throw. Infield hit to Jesus Jr. So an error and an infield hit, and the door is creeping open once again for Cincinnati.
Well, second time now that Billy Hamilton's going to come to the plate with runners on first and second for these Reds with 2 outs. Last at bat, he flew out to right field. Again, just keep the ball out of the air. Make him get the ball down. Don't be swinging anything above your waist. And you just see he's not an accomplished hitter.
So he is one of the few hitters that would bunt in an RBI situation with 2 outs. Perez, the third baseman, is in on the grass. If the Reds can just turn the lineup over, they give themselves a chance here in this inning. The tying run is on deck in Brandon Phillips.
But you know, and with Hamilton up at the plate, I'd almost have him take a strike. I mean, I really would.
Slaps one foul. Ball and a strike. Hamilton had an incredible run against the Minnesota Twins. He was bunting for hits. He stole a ton of bases. Had 19 steals in the month of June, did Hamilton. He leads the league with 40. And he ran wild and made a game-ending catch that secured the series win. That was on Wednesday afternoon.
Well, we just saw some bunts towards the right side. Adam Lind way back.
A strike, 1-2 the count. Reds have 10 hits, but they've scored only 3 runs. They've stranded 7. Milwaukee has stranded 13 tonight. One-two pitch, and Hamilton lays off. Hamilton flew out to right in the 6th inning with 2 on. That ended the inning. That was Michael Blazek who come out of the bullpen to get that final out. Reds have 2 on with 2 outs here in the 8th. And now LUCROY wants to talk about it.
I don't think he needs to mess around. He can throw his fastball with as much movement. I'm not so sure that Hamilton is good enough to catch up to it. Now, if you're Hamilton right now, you're just up there protecting, trying to shoot something to left field.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's see what he goes with. And the fastball missed 98. But he missed with it, and now it's 3-2, and now the 2 base runners will get a head start. Hamilton trying to turn the worm here tonight. He's got another chance. Brandon Phillips is on deck. The runners go. 3-2 pitch in the air, left field. Peterson closing on it. He's got it for the out. And the inning is over. Good running catch by Shane Peterson. Hamilton flies out with 2 on. It is still 7-3 Milwaukee. We go to the 9th already. to play center field. Out is Billy Hamilton. And he makes the last out. Put the pitcher in that spot. We are in the 9th inning, and it is the right-hander Bert Badenhop, the sidewinder, on the pitch for Cincinnati. Yet another former Milwaukee Brewer.
Yeah, actually kind of surprising Chapman isn't in tonight just to get some work. They had the off day on Thursday. Obviously didn't throw last night. But instead, we get Badenhop. He'll come in and try and keep this ball game at a 4-run deficit.
This game turned in the 5th inning. The Brewers batted around. They brought 12 to the plate in that inning and scored 6 runs on 5 hits. Hernan Perez will bat. He came in on the double switch last inning, his first plate appearance. He's been a hot hitter as well, coming from the Tigers to the Brewers in early June on a waiver claim. Committed an error last inning and opened the door a little bit, but Billy Hamilton flies out to left. He's left 4 on in this game. Perez into center field, hit well. Bourgeois on the run, and he makes the catch. What a play by Jason Bourgeois. That takes extra bases away from Perez. A beautiful catch.
Well, gets a great jump on it. It's not Billy Hamilton, but it sure looks like him the way he runs down that ball. Excellent job keeping his eye on the ball. Full sprint.
And Badenhop appreciates that effort.
Yes, he does.
Bourgeois always been known as a terrific outfielder. He's been a guy who's grinded his way through a lot of minor league seasons. PARRA fouls it away. Those who are doing their homework are certainly talking about Gerardo Parra. If you're a contending team and you're trying to get a player that could help you for a postseason run. The Brewers had that in mind last year when they acquired him from the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of everything. Can play all the outfield positions, steal you a base, good leadoff guy, has some pop. Great arm, too.
Twice a Gold Glove Award winner. He won one in left field and right field as a member of the Diamondbacks. He's lost a step in the outfield, but he can still play center field. Runs good routes. Actually, kind of blew a route tonight, which is rare. Parra came in on a Frazier line drive early in the game. That was a double by Frazier in the first inning. Seems like he always throws to the right base. As the defensive metrics have become more reliable, especially route efficiency, guys like Parra, their games have started to elevate their stock as he sends one deep to left. Bird's got it. Out number 2. Well, in honor of Independence Day, Fox Sports proudly supports Folds of Honor and its mission of providing educational scholarships to families of military members who have been killed or disabled while serving our country. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. It is a group we support wholeheartedly. They do great work. Jonathan LUCROY, heavily active with military charities. He bats with 2 outs. LUCROY took a flight this year, the honor flight, to Washington, D.C. They take veterans, World War II veterans, to D.C. on a charter plane. LUCROY did that in his offseason this year. Had a great time with those guys, and we showed you the catcher's equipment that he's wearing tonight. He's going to auction off that gear, the Stars and Stripe catching gear he has. He might even throw in the arm sleeve.
Yeah,
well.
that's got to go.
He's one of the charities that will split the money raised will be the honor flight group.
Brewers head now to L.A. Where do they go right after this?
Back to Milwaukee.
Back to Milwaukee and then L.A.
3-game homestand with Atlanta. And then a weekend series prior to the All-Star break against the Dodgers. LUCROY over to Frazier. Inning over. Badenhop works a scoreless 3-up, 3-down 9. Top of the order coming up for the Reds. Last call for them. Brewers in control, up 7-3. To protect our freedoms, log on to welcomebackveterans.org to see how you can help before the game. At a great moment here, a lot of members of the military, but there was a Purple Heart ceremony before the game today. An inspiring moment, and then a ceremonial first pitch. Clint Goethe receiving his Purple Heart and then delivered a strike. That is some kind of accomplishment, recognition, and a true hero right there. And as we always say, don't just be patriotic on the 4th of July or Memorial Day. Keep it going all year round. Honoring the true heroes here tonight. Here's Jonathan Broxton, the former Red. He is on to try to finish this one off for Milwaukee. Any trouble at all, you'd probably see Francisco Rodriguez, the Brewer closer. It's been a rough year for Broxton. Traded from Cincinnati to Milwaukee last year for the Brewers stretch run. Phillips on the ground to second base. He's out, one gone in the ninth.
Yeah, Broxton, a closer in his days with the Dodgers, and then over in Cincinnati, pitching in that 8th inning. And really, that's a role that they would like to use him here in Milwaukee, but he hasn't done the job. Others have stepped up, and now he's anywhere 6th, 7th, occasional 8th, occasional 9th, depending on what the game looks like.
Pitching with a 4-run lead to work with here in the 9th. Joey Votto, who is 1 for 4 tonight. Now, there was an error earlier in the game. It's pinned on the pitcher Josh Schmidt. Should have been a play made by Votto, but that was a real turning point in this game. That opened the doors to a 6-run inning for Milwaukee. You can't pin it all on Joey Votto, but it was a pretty routine pickoff play over at first base. It allowed PARRA to second. The next man was Ryan Braun. He drove him in, and then the wheels came off for Josh Smith. He did not record another out. And was out after 4 1/3. VOTTO on the ground, right to Lynn. 2 up, 2 down for Broxton. Just a reminder that tomorrow on ESPN it is the Esurance All-Star Selection Show. The starters for both teams will be announced tomorrow. The reserves will be announced on Monday, and then on July 13th it's the 2015 Gillette Home Run Derby presented by Head & Shoulders. It all leads up to the Midsummer Classic, Tuesday, July 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox. Back in the national spotlight in 10 days here at Great American Ballpark. It's going to be fun. Frazier will be there. I'm sure he'll participate in the Home Run Derby. Was runner-up last year.
You got to hand it to this Milwaukee Brewer ball club. They have been swinging the bats. They've been playing well. Could easily just say, man, this is just not happening for us this year. Veteran guys are stepping up. Nice little run right now.
Trying to win their 7th consecutive game. In the 7-game win streak. Brewers averaging nearly 8 runs a game, but 7 on the board tonight. All but one of those wins have come on their current road trip. 4 in Philly. They're trying to win the first 2 in Cincinnati. They've scored 86 or scored 47 runs and have 86 hits in the 6 games of this road trip. Just incredible numbers offensively. Back on the regional networks tomorrow. Fox Sports Wisconsin and Fox Sports Ohio. Tom Brenneman and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley will be back on the call tomorrow afternoon. The Reds are going to send up Mike Leake, who is in the middle of trade rumors as well, and Taylor Youngman will pitch for Milwaukee. Final game of the series tomorrow.
On the big network, the Women's World Cup. Can't wait for that.
You'll have your jersey on.
I will.
Have all your screens on there in California.
Yeah.
They'll all be dialed up. Coverage starting at 1 Eastern tomorrow for first pitch. And a line drive, base hit. That's down. It's going to go to the fence. Todd Frazier on his way to second with yet another extra base hit. His second of the game. He has 4 hits tonight, 4 for 5. A good showing tonight by Frazier. Both of his doubles to left field.
Broxton challenges him with a high fastball, and you see Todd Frazier gets on top of that, just drives it out to left field. Really having a heck of a year. Again, 29 home runs, a career high. He's got 25 already this year.
He's adding to his major league lead of extra base hits with 2 doubles here tonight. So here is Jay Bruce. It's a 4-run lead with 2 outs. The second the tying run moves into the on deck circle and it becomes a save situation, that'll be the end of Broxton tonight. Barnhart is on deck. Bruce with a double tonight. He's 1 for 4. Doubled and scored back in the 6th inning. Thanks to Aaron Stoikoff, our producer tonight. Director Mike Frank. Great work of endurance by our terrific crew here in Cincinnati. Technical producer Sean Wolf. And our technical director, Kevin Wilkinson. Thanks to Yvonne Wagner, our associate director, and Brandon Terralavaro, our broadcast associate. Great work by all here tonight. Broxton trying to finish off the Reds and make it 7 in a row for Milwaukee. The 1-2 doesn't bite. 2-2.
See LUCROY still working back there. Breaking ball drops down.
It's going to be Broxton's last hitter. Either the game ends or he will be out. Two-two pitch, bouncing ball. Lind is over. He's got it. Broxton on the run, hits him perfectly, and the ball game is over. And the Milwaukee Brewers have come in here against one of their division rivals, and they have won 7 in a row. They've won the first 2 in this series. We'll return to Cincinnati to wrap things up right after these messages from your local Fox station.